This is uh, this is very important, and I wanna discuss it. So you see, there exists within live shows a dominance hierarchy, and this dominance hierarchy is demonstrable within lobsters, which proves that it's totally possible that they don't exist after all. That live shows in general are this metaphorical force behind the formal awakening of mankind. Now, you can only find out what you actually believe, rather than what you think you believe, by watching how you act. You simply don't know what you believe before that. You are, this is important, you are too complex to understand yourself. This is what they say, unless you continue to watch channels like NonSequitur. Now, why would you choose to do that anyway? Why not clean your room instead? Just do that. Just clean your room. Now, that's the most important thing that you can possibly do with your life, is have an orderly room, have your life in order, and then you can criticize people for really, really dumb things. Now, I don't watch it because they want me to call it non-sequitur. But this is not non-sequitur with a pause in the middle, which is what formal language dictates. You see, they want me to use some made-up version of it because it makes them feel better to use a made-up word to identify them. Well, I will not be told what to do, and I will not be told what I have to say. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that or him or they or the zer or any of those strange words they use. None of them can do anything about it, because I am goddamn Jordan Peterson.
Keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther.
You know, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah.
There is, I know that's weird for you guys for being guests on the show, but what we've started doing now is I open the show with a line from a movie, and the live chat has to guess which movie it is that I'm opening the show with. So, do you guys have a guess of what movie that's from? Movie guy.
Wasn't that Ray Liotta in oh god.
Yeah.
So Goodfellas?
Yes. Boom. Right on the money.
Yep. That was
Right on the money.
my guess too. It was on the tip of my tongue. I knew it was Ray Liotta.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Gallus Engineer, since you're here, you have an intro too that you do.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing?
Excellent.
Tonight we're doing Flatterday night stuff, so I'm excited to hear this discussion.
I am too. I think this is going to be, it's different, you know, because we're always on here just talking about regular shape of the earth, and now we're kind of targeting it in on the CGI aspect of it, which I think is really cool. So let's say hello to our guests, both returning for the second time though. Matthew Walker, welcome back.
Hey guys.
Everything going okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Same old. Nothing really new. So thanks for letting me be on the show.
Sure. And back for the Wotan, I think this is probably your 6th or 7th time on here. Welcome back. You haven't been here in ages, it seems like.
Greetings from the flat earth plane. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice and round. Let's see what we have. Let me see if I have anything to talk about real quick. The private shows tomorrow, or not tomorrow. The private shows will be going out on Monday. I will be letting you guys know if you sponsored for the Adobe thing or you're a patron. We have 2 private shows that we're doing for you at the beginning of February. Trevor Valley has already said that he would be on the first one. So he'll be talking to somebody that denies dinosaurs, and that will be a lot of fun. So make sure that you check that out if you can. YouTube, I wanted to talk about this briefly because I think it's an important thing. YouTube released yesterday that they were altering their algorithm to, they're not going to be showing or recommending anybody that hasn't, or anybody that uploads videos having to do with things like the flat earth or 9/11 conspiracies, anything they deem harmful, remedies that claim can cure things like that. G, what is your take on that? How do you feel about that sort of a move?
Well, on the one hand, I feel like it's a good move because a lot of these videos shouldn't be as heavily recommended as they are. Like I know I did a refutation of the New York blue light, and it did not do as well as people that were pushing it as the real thing, and that's really frustrating. Like the real thing being that it was Project Bluebeam test. Like there were several people that were like, "Oh, it's a Project Bluebeam test," when really it wasn't. And I explained why it wasn't, but that video didn't do as well as the conspiracy theory video. So, I mean, it's very frustrating for me to see misinformation spread faster than good information. So I hope that they start promoting the good information rather than bad information. But I feel like, you know, um, I feel like a lot of my content and a lot of other people's content probably will get caught up in that.
Yeah, I think so as well. We do a lot of basically that's the majority of what, besides the atheism and religious aspect, targeting in on things like especially the woo aspect, like Jilly Juice and people who just hold those kind of beliefs. I think that's what concerns me the most is the people who try to go against those harmful things getting caught up in the middle of that censorship. But and another aspect of it too, though, is this the stepping stone? Like where's the next move? Is it that they start deeming things that they just don't like as a company? Whatever they don't like, they can by fiat just not recommend and push out there. It's really kind of a mess.
Well, yeah, they do have very specific criteria that they use, and they try to use machine learning in order to train their algorithms so that they know what to recommend to people. And I think that as a company, if they want to stay afloat, they're going to want to taper the limiting of the content to like the smallest portions of the content that's uploaded to YouTube, because in their own blog post they said that the conspiracy theory content makes up less than 1% of the overall content that's uploaded to YouTube, and so not a lot's going to be affected. And I think that is what they're really kind of honing in on, is the fact that not a lot of creators and not a lot of people uploading videos are going to be affected. It's just that it does make everybody wonder, like, well, what's next? What are they going to start censoring next? But I don't really see it as them, looking to censor things they don't like. What they're doing is very reactionary to situations they've come across, they've handled, and everything. Like with I believe one of the major factors has been like labeling people as crisis actors, saying that they didn't actually go through a school shooting and that they were actually just a crisis actor faking it or whatnot. And those videos have been #1 on trending at times, and so they're really just reactionary to what they see happening. And it seems like they're wanting to err on the side of caution with promoting conspiracy theory ideas, things that are not based in scientific fact or in facts at all.
I agree with that that analysis of it. My only concern is that I hope that we don't get into the area of where we're letting advertisers deem what's to be put out. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I question whether or not this could be, if this is really driven by a desire to clean up some harmful ideas, or if it's that advertisers have said they don't want their videos attached to these certain subject matter, and that's the motivation behind it. You know what I mean? Because money drives, everything
Right.
in life.
Well, I mean, we can't really know if that was a major factor,
Sure.
although the changes to the platform in general have been because of advertisers. They're trying to find that happy middle ground between the content creators and the advertisers, so that people can still make money off their videos and whatnot, and still keep like paying their rent, but also so that advertisers are happy that their content isn't being played alongside like ISIS training videos or something. So it's kind of difficult to find that happy middle ground, but they're trying hard to do that. And I think that they've made some mistakes, definitely, like how the algorithm actually dings content as not being suitable for all advertisers, yet like most of my videos get approved for all advertisers, and then there are some innocuous videos that do not get approved for all advertisers are actually deemed as not appropriate at times. So that's particularly frustrating, especially when I cover content that's not actually like unadvertiser friendly. I think that's a word.
Sure.
But it's been a very frustrating journey, but they do continue to keep improving it. And I think that the algorithm change now has been more due to like public pressure rather than advertiser pressure, because like they
True.
get heavily criticized when something's trending and it's like a conspiracy theory video or something like that.
I have no doubt. Okay, let's dive into to tonight then, shall we? Hello everyone in the live chat. If I haven't said hello back to you, I see a lot of and yes, this is live. There's quite a few people asking if this is live or if this is a live rerun, and I'm not sure what a live what a live rerun is, but we are live. Yes. I don't know what the motivation is for that, but yes, we are live. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to start this? Wotan, when we were talking back and forth last week, you said that you maybe had some questions for it. Do you want to start out with maybe a question or two towards Matt, and then we'll go from there? Or
Well, first, I guess for the audience, I guess, and for everybody, if you could just state your title and what your exact expertise is and what you do for a living.
Yeah, sure. My name is Matthew Walker. I'm a visual effects artist. Specifically, I do compositing, hard surface modeling, and a little bit of character animation. What else? I've got into game engine back end recently, and I don't know. I've done so many different things. So yeah, does that help at all? Did I answer all your questions?
Essentially, you know CGI when you see it, right?
No. In fact, that was one of the things that I was talking with you about on the YouTube comments was, trying to determine what is fake and what is real is actually not very easy to do at all. Even for somebody like me, I look at some photos and wouldn't be able to tell if they're composite or not without further examination. So.
Yeah. Well, all the NASA images are admitted to be composite, so
okay.
There's maybe one or two full Earth images from NASA that exist.
Could we actually start further back? Because I need a little bit of an introduction into flat Earth. Because
sure.
I had a few conversations with people on the YouTube comments from my last video. One of them being you, and I went through and I looked at some flat Earth videos to kind of get a taste of what they believe and what are the core concepts of flat Earth. And frankly, I kind of got more confused. So I guess what I would really like to know is, what is the principle of flat Earth? Like, what are the fundamentals of it, so that I know I'm not coming from a hyperbolized worldview. So,
well, I guess, if you want to ask me what was the number one reason that I came to flat Earth, I would just absolutely say, just water, the way water behaves. There's just absolutely no possible way that you can ever devise an experiment to make water adhere to the exterior of a shape the way that the water that is going around the Earth does. And the only evidence that we have of this is the images of the Earth, right? That's the only way that you can actually prove that that's actually happening, is if we were to go far back enough and have, like, a 24-hour, live feed, of showing the entire Earth, right? Showing the water going around the Earth. Maybe you could zoom in and see airplanes going around the side of the Earth and, like, magically going around the side, helicopters flying off the south, the bottom of Australia, hovering upside down off of Australia on the bottom of the Earth, like stuff like that. I would like to see that. That would absolutely prove to me that the Earth is round. But we don't have any of that. You know what I'm saying? We have none of that. We have this Himawari satellite, which is just, obviously, you just look at it, just complete CGI. Nothing about it is real at all. I just cannot be, I am not convinced at all whatsoever of any image of the Earth. When I look at the images of Earth, now it took a while for me to, get into it. But then I've watched an interview with Eric Dubay on like 2 years ago. And he was like, well, just Google, Earth images from space. And I was looking at this guy like he's an absolute psychopath. Like, how can anybody believe that the Earth is flat, whatever? So I Googled, for the first time in my life, I never really Googled Earth from space, how common of a thing that must be. But you'd be surprised at how little people actually, Google just what Earth looks like from space. And then when you do it,
Gotcha.
every image that you get, it just looks absolutely completely fraudulent.
Cool. So if I can just, I think they call it steel manning. I just want to steel man what you said to me so I understand perfectly. You were introduced to an individual who first introduced you to the concept of flat Earth, and then by following the direction that he sent you on, you were convinced by the images that you saw that you were being lied to. Is that correct?
Well, it wasn't like a 1 second thing. It wasn't like he told me to Google Earth from space, and then that night I was a flat earther. No, I was just looking at it, and I was like, wow, you know what? This guy really might have a point here. These images really don't look real. They look blatantly CGI. They just don't look real at all. So, upon further investigation, you look into the proofs, you look into how water works, this, that, gravity, dark matter, all of this stuff that has to be true in order for the Earth to be round. All of these things have to be true. And then, it's a what do you call it's a figure of speech for it. Like
I can't really talk about
evidence.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this on our comments. I can't really give you any more information on Earth science, like
right.
What the way. Yeah, so specifically about the images, I understand that you spent some time looking at these images and were convinced by what you saw that the Earth was flat. Is that correct?
Well, that the images were fake. That they were fake.
Yeah.
That was one of the proofs that led to me believing that the Earth was flat. Right.
Excellent. Okay, I just wanted to. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, so to give you a little bit of an introduction to what I want to talk about, could we actually go to my first slide? And I'll introduce you to a problem that is very common when you look at images, especially images that you may think are fake. Do we have my slides? Or okay.
Yeah.
So we have to start off with acknowledging one problem. The human brain is notoriously bad at determining whether images have been altered or an image is genuine. And as the brain scans an image, it doesn't have a lossless representation of that image in the brain. In fact, the brain does kind of what's an autocomplete. And what it happens is you look at parts of an image really quickly. So you see feathers, you see the webbed feet. Your brain can autocomplete a duck even before you see the rest of the duck. That makes sense?
Right.
So this explains why sometimes you're reading a book, you look at a word very, very quickly, or you look at a word on an advertisement, and you have to do a double take because the word that you thought you saw does not actually fit the sentence that you were reading. And that's because your brain autocompletes based off of the primacy recency effect, where it says it sees a jumbled list of letters starting with P, R, and ending with EM. You're going to autocomplete problem when in reality it might be a different word. So that is one of the problems that we have with our brain. With that in mind, I actually asked if you would take a test to determine your capability of seeing whether or not an image is CGI or real. Would you be willing to take that test? And before you answer, I just want to let you know, I want to reiterate, I'm not here to trick you or to make you look stupid. In fact, Kyle and I took the test, and we'd be willing to share our scores with you if you'd be willing to take the test right now.
No, actually, believe me, like I actually seen an image of a Coca-Cola can, tipped over with the Coca-Cola flowing out of it, and like the Coca-Cola just like creating this big puddle on the floor. And I was looking at this image like, wow, that's like the most photorealistic image I've ever seen. And turns out it was actually not only was it was not CGI, it was actually hand drawn by somebody, hand drawn, painted it, and it looked like the absolute. I was completely convinced that it was real. And I was like, there's no way that can be, painted. But it turns out that that's actually, I forgot the name of it, but there's a form of art that like deals with that. They make like photorealistic paintings. But that's the point. That's a point to my argument. Yeah.
Yeah. So photorealistic rendering is a really interesting technique that a lot of artists try to do. Do you think that if we gave you, like, let's say 25 images, would you be able to look through those 25 images and determine what was real and what was fake?
I could give you my, a guess, but the conclusions of that test is not, it's going to be inconclusive to the questions that I have towards the images of Earth.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, I totally understand. I don't think I'm not that far down my argument yet. I was talking about the Earth. What I'm trying to get to is determining our ability as humans to see whether or not an image is CGI or real. And if this test may indicate to one way or the other whether or not we're actually reliable at determining whether something is CGI and real, I think that's important to know, right? Because if what you're saying is true, I want to know that. If what you're saying is these images are faked, I would want to know, not just as a member of our species, but also I would want to know as a CGI artist, if I'm being tricked by CGI, right?
Right.
So would you be willing to take this? Would you be willing to take this test?
I'll be willing. I'll be willing. Yeah, because I already have a point to go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go, do it.
Okay. So do you have? I sent a link in the chat that we have, the private chat. Are you able to see that?
I don't have the tab up. No.
Dave can pull it. And I'll tell you what, while Dave pulls that up,
don't tell him your score yet. Don't tell him your score because I want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's tell him the score afterwards, because I want to be fair. Like I feel like a lot of the conversation that we had previously, most of it was me telling you, like, dude, don't worry about it. I'm not here to trick you. It's not a trick. Like we participated in it as well because I wanted it to be fair. So we have scores that we want to share with you, and so it's not just like I'm setting you up for something. Okay, so don't. Okay. It's something like that. So
I've actually increased the resolution in my output to you guys so that there's no mistake. Mm-hmm. And I have the website up, so whenever you're ready to go,
excellent.
Matthew.
Go for it.
And I'll be taking it. Well, I was going to say, I'm going to take it along with Wotan. Sorry,
cool.
I'm bad at pronouncing names. I'll be taking it along with you, and we'll see what we get at the end of this, okay?
Excellent.
Sure. Don't cheat. Don't look at my answers.
All right, here we go. Start.
All right. You
have to
say it's real or not?
I'm doing this live. Can you guys see this, or I'm just?
Yeah. We can see this.
Tell me what you want me to push, and I'll push it there, Wotan.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a website, so.
Real.
It's real. Okay.
GE.
It was Photoshop.
And GE, you can answer after Wotan, if you want, and then Dave, you can, since Wotan's taking it, just go with what Wotan says, and then I can keep tally for GE.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was planning on, just doing one person. I can't go back. So.
Okay, all right.
So what, Wotan?
Wotan.
Looks like she's on the water. I don't really think that's possible. I'll say Photoshop. It's probably real though.
Oh,
Real.
Dave.
Yeah, I said.
Dave, you gotta let GE answer.
Sorry.
Okay, Wotan.
Too many patterns there. Photoshop.
All right, GE. Dave.
Yeah, I was gonna say Photoshop.
Sorry, I keep messing up. I keep forgetting.
I'll remind you. All right, Wotan.
Real.
All right, Dave, hold on. GE.
Yeah, I'm gonna say real.
Okay. So they both say real. Let's see what it. Yep, it's real. Okay.
Nice.
Real.
GE.
I'm gonna go with Photoshop.
Okay.
Which is it? We'll go
Real.
with real.
No, dude.
Yeah.
It's real.
That's pretty good, Wotan.
It looks like Photoshop.
GE.
I'm gonna go with Photoshop 2.
Okay.
Okay, here goes. It's real.
It's real.
That's a cool picture.
That is a cool picture.
Wotan.
How many of these are there?
25.
25. Let's go a little bit faster, guys.
Real.
Yeah.
All right, GE.
I'm gonna say Photoshop because it has to be.
All right, go with the real.
It has to be.
Real.
Wotan.
I don't know how that's happening. It's got to be fake.
All right, GE.
We'll love to know how they did that. If it's real.
I'll go real.
All right, Dave.
So you think it's Photoshop?
Photoshop.
Okay.
It's Photoshop.
Wotan killing it. Wotan.
I mean, it looks opaque. Looks like they messed with the opacity. I don't know. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm gonna gamble real. I don't know why.
Okay. GE.
I feel like real is the correct answer.
I think it looks. Now that you both answered, I think it looks painted on. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that somebody
that's
painted
what I was
that.
thinking is body paints.
Yeah. All right. Beef squirrel or beefed up squirrel. Wotan says real. GE.
I go with real too.
Okay.
Ooh,
It's
you
real.
guys are actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Wotan.
Real.
GE.
I'm going Photoshop.
All right. Go with the real, Dave.
It's photoshopped.
Ooh.
Let's photoshopped. All right.
Photoshop.
All right. GE.
I'm gonna go real.
All right. Go with Photoshop, Dave.
It's photoshopped.
It's photoshopped.
It's tough
All right.
to tell some of these.
Is that a beach?
A very talented sand artist.
Or Photoshop artists. We don't
Or
know.
Photoshop artists, exactly.
But which is it, Wotan?
That's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised at people's autistic skills. I'll go real.
Okay, G.
I'll go Photoshop.
Okay, go with real, Dave.
It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
All right. Cute little squirrel. I mean, not squirrel. I said the squirrel in my head.
What kind of squirrel is
Turtle.
that?
That's a
I'll
really
say,
squirrel.
I'll say
Is that
Photoshop.
real? All right, G.
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
All right, let's say Photoshop.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Because turtles
You mean a
can't
turtle can't
after
jump like
frisbees.
that?
Turtles don't jump after frisbees. Sorry, it doesn't happen. Wotan?
Real.
Real?
Okay, G.
Real.
Real.
You guys are doing great.
It asks, "Are you cheating?"
Yeah, you both are doing really good.
You are doing pretty
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay, G.
Photoshop.
Good.
Okay.
Photoshop. Come on. Am I not clicking? Okay, there it goes.
That's a creepy picture.
Well, I mean, it's obviously photoshopped if there's a black background behind it. Right?
Okay, G.
You're not gonna get that any other way.
I'm gonna go with Photoshop too, but not for the same reasons as him.
The fish are real, but the background is fake.
Well, in that same vein, GE and Kyle are both photoshopped right now.
Oh yeah. I'm totes Photoshop.
Good point. All right.
I'll go real.
It's like a G.
Real.
Real it is.
Oh.
What
Two-headed
the
camel.
world is? What's going on there, man?
Wotan.
Real.
G.
I'm gonna go real too.
Okay, real it is.
Now,
There's,
what the
people
hell
in
is happening
Australia.
here?
It's the Australians.
These are
who
Australians.
said-
Yeah, that's what Australia.
Obviously.
Well, on a globe that's real, on a flat Earth that's fake. So I don't know. I guess I'll go fake.
Okay.
Photoshop.
I'll go Photoshop as well.
Very good. You guys are doing great.
Much better than I did. Wotan.
Yeah.
If that's
Background
real,
looks
he's
blurry.
got problems. If that's real, that guy's got some problems.
What'd you say it was,
I'll say-
Wotan?
I'll say real.
Okay.
I'm going Photoshop. I gotta go Photoshop with this.
All right. Go with
It's
All right.
photoshopped. I don't even know what I'm looking at. So
This is a man in a sleeping bag hovering over the Sahara.
Real.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go real on this one too.
Okay.
it is real.
Good job, guys.
Wotan.
Those haystacks look fake. I'll say fake. Photoshop.
All right. G.
Yep, Photoshop. I'm gonna have to go Photoshop.
Yeah, not
Good
bad.
job, guys.
This is kind of a. Duh,
Well,
right?
this is an artist painting, so it's like it's not even something that can be real, right?
Okay.
Or whatever it
G.
is. I mean,
I'm gonna go Photoshop as well.
probably some strange microorganism or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, what would it be if it was real?
Exactly.
All right. This is right outside the ice wall in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they went to go test to go see. That's cool.
Mhm.
Looks like they got thrown in by the CIA. So get the hell out of here. You're not supposed to be here.
Is it real or Photoshop?
Looks real. That's a real.
All right. G.
I'll go real too.
Okay.
Right, so here's your score. You didn't do too
Yep.
bad.
You only
You
missed
you did
5.
better than me.
Yeah, you did a lot better than me too.
Yeah.
Look,
What did GE get?
GE missed.
I missed a few more than he did.
GE missed 8, and I
Missed
missed.
8?
Yeah, I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I missed 9.
Yeah, I missed like 7 or 8. I can't remember. So
Yeah.
So what this test determines is trying to not really determine your individual ability to see what's fake or not. It's actually to illustrate that we're really bad at actually determining what's fake and what's real. So if let's say a person, like, well, I won't even go. So the average test score for this test is actually like 52% of all the people that take it. And the reason is because we as humans are just we at the rate of chance, we have the same rate of chance at determining whether or not an image is real or an image is fake. Furthermore, like I hear what you're saying, because like you rationalize like, oh, this image is fake because of A, B, C, and D, right? Like one of them you said the hay bales. You're like, oh, the hay bales are fake. Or one of them you're like, oh, the black background. And to me, I'm like, yeah, that's excellent criteria to start with, at least, of why images are fake and why images are real. What I'm here to say is we need more than just someone looking at someone spending a small amount of time looking at one image and concluding that that image is fake. What we need to do is actually dive deeper into the image. I have my second slide that I'd like to show, if we can. Good job, Wotan, by the way. So you have 4 squares here, okay? All 4 of these squares, what color are they?
What color are the squares? Blue.
Yeah. Which
Well,
square
blue,
is
you
the
have
most
green, you
blue?
have. Oh, it depends which square you're
Blue-
talking about. There's a green square, there's a gray square, and there's four blue squares.
I apologize. I'm specifically talking about the 4 blue squares in the middle. Which one is the most blue?
The most blue. They're all the same color on my monitor.
They're actually the same color to anyone's monitor, but they're not the same color blue. If you were to take this actual file on your computer, open it in Photoshop, and sample these colors, they're very different from one another. And that's because what a computer sees, what humans see, are very, very different. And what this illustrates is that a computer can look deeper into an image than a human being can. Do you agree with me that that's true?
Right, but the thing is with the globe Earth pictures is that you don't even need computer software to determine whether the image is fake, because there are obvious, blatant anomalies that you can see with the human eye that are obviously there, that you don't need this expensive software to be able to determine whether it's fake or not. Now, a point I like to make is, I don't want to get into like Bigfoot or anything, but like the old Bigfoot footage, right? Everybody's saying, oh, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, whatever. But what did they do to determine whether that was fake or not? They took it to somebody who knows CGI, who could like.
Ooh, I lost you. Hello?
The Illuminati has abducted Wotan.
Wotan.
Wotan, YouTube just censored you, Wotan.
I'm censored.
Oh,
Hello?
no.
You
No,
don't
no,
know.
no,
There he
no.
is. Okay.
You're back.
Okay, so we got up to the CGI experts with Bigfoot. Where were you?
No, I misspoke. I didn't mean CGI. I meant like when you want to determine, like, oh, let's say ghosts, for example, right? The famous example, like, oh, people see ghosts. So what do? They send the ghost video to somebody who knows how to manipulate video. They send it to an expert in that field so they can determine just by visual sight alone, just by looking at it, and to see if there's any obvious anomalies just by looking at it, right? So they could tell immediately if there's an obvious, blatant anomaly with the image. They're not going to need to waste time, using this expensive computer software, because they already know that it's fake, because they have, 20, 30 years of experience dealing with this. So they already know just by looking at it. They could tell, oh, well, that ghost can't be there because, this, that, and that. So that's what I would like to know from you.
Yeah. So what you're asking for is like a rubric, right? You're asking for like, what's a methodology that we can adopt to determine whether an image is fake or real, right?
Well, you don't even need a methodology because there's obvious blatant anomalies that my 4-year-old nephew can see that it's obviously fake. You don't even need an expert. But I would just like to, yeah.
I think he's
What you
asking
just explained
your
to me.
opinion, Matt. I think he's asking like if you look at the image of the Earth, what do you see like as somebody?
Yeah,
that does
I would like to show you the images that I'm looking at, and it is impossible. It is completely impossible that these images are real. They're completely fake. That's it. They're just fake.
Cool.
And I would like your opinion on why you think they're fake or they're real.
Hold on.
So
Hey,
actually, can I?
Sorry.
ahead,
I was
Steve.
wanting Votan to explain. I was wanting Votan to explain something that might help, and that's, you kind of do the whole yada 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 thing from Seinfeld when you're talking about like what invalidates these images. I'm wondering if you can enlighten us as to like maybe a specific example or something that indicates to you that it's fake, and not like explain your thought process on that.
Well, obviously, you look at this.
Sorry. Let me interrupt
ahead,
you.
Matt.
Sorry, Wotan. And to add on to what G is saying, you are describing a methodology, whether or not you know it or not. Like you're saying somebody's looking at this image and they're determining it's fake based off of this criteria. And so you're adopting the methodology whether you want to or not. And what I'm saying is that's great, but we can actually improve on that methodology. We can go deeper. So we're
Send me
the
Sure,
methodology.
send me the images, Wotan. Send me the images.
Sure.
Send them in images, but yeah, the methodology could be as simple as, hey, it's a cartoon of Godless Engineer. Obviously, it's not actually Godless Engineer.
How can I send you an image here?
In the email, just send me the link to whatever you're looking at if you have a link for it, or just send me the picture in the email that we've got going on back and forth, and I'll pull it out and then we can put it on the screen.
Wotan, while he's doing that, can I run you through how I would do it? And you don't have to accept how I do it, but would you mind if I just showed you what I do? Is that something you'd be interested in seeing?
While I'm doing this, sure.
Okay. Could we go back to my slide really quick? So digital forensics is the method of determining if an image is fake, altered, or misrepresented. And it's important to delineate those three. So if we go to slide 4, a faked image. So these different categories will help us determine what we need to do to solve the problem, right? So if an image is faked, it's completely computer generated. That could be through Photoshop or 3D software or anything.
Or it could also be a composite. It could also be a composite, and then they just make it whatever shape they want because it's a composite, so they can do anything they want with it. Right? It's just a compilation of images. You can make the Earth look like Mickey Mouse's head if you want with composite images. It doesn't matter. You're going into Photoshop anyway.
Slow down. So yes, you're right. The second category is altered. So that's when an image like what you're saying is composited from multiple images, or they take an image and they alter it somehow by distorting it. Okay. The third is actually when they don't alter or they don't generate an image at all, they just misrepresent an image. They take it from its original context and they put it into a fabricated new false context. Okay. So I have some images that I'm going to show, and I'm going to ask you what category they belong in. So the slide 5, if I may, which is this purple guy. So is this faked? Is it altered, or is it misrepresented?
We're not like getting into the Earth. This whole discussion was about me showing you images of Earth, and here we are again. You're trying to deduce whether I can tell whether an image is fake or not. It's not about me telling whether an image is fake or not. It's about you. It's about you telling whether the image is fake or not. Doesn't my opinion doesn't matter. It's your opinion that matters.
I understand, Wotan. While we're setting that up, I just want to get through my presentation. I'm not trying to trick you, man. Like I just want to show you what I do. So
give us just a minute, and we'll have that. Give us just a minute. I'll have the.
Why don't I let you do your thing, and I'll ask GE. Is that fair?
I've already sent the email.
Okay, I'll ask GE. So GE, is this image faked? Is it altered, or is it misrepresented?
I don't think there's a real Thanos, so I would have to go on it being altered.
Faked. but you're close. Altered would be if any of this shot was real, but nothing's real. So this is faked.
Okay.
If we go to slide, yeah, so we go to slide 6. All right. So is this image faked? Is it altered, or is it misrepresented?
I would say that this is probably it's misrepresented. Yeah, misrepresented.
Close. Wotan, what do you think? Is this image faked? Is this image altered, or is this image misrepresented? Do we lose Wotan? Oh, there you go.
I don't know the distinction. What's misinterpreted? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
In terms of
this is what I want you. Hey, bud. Look, I need you to listen to what I'm saying and not just like assume that I'm trying to trick you. Okay. When an image is faked, it means all of the image is fake. It means everything is CGI. When an image is altered, that means you take existing images and make a new one, a composite. When an image is misrepresented, it means the image is real, but it's being used in a false context. So based off of those definitions, is this image faked? Is this image altered, or is this image misrepresented?
Probably altered.
You're right. This image is altered. Vladimir Putin is actually not sitting there, and I'll explain why in a minute. If we go to slide 7, this actually is in recent news, so everyone should remember this thing. So is this image faked? Is this image altered, or is this image misrepresented?
Misrepresented.
Exactly. This image is real, but it's used in a false context. So these are what I'm trying to illustrate is there's more ways than one to use imagery, whether computer generated or not, to mislead people. So you don't necessarily have to have CGI to mislead people. So just determining whether an image is real or not doesn't matter. We have to have more forensic tools at our disposal so we can determine what is real and what's not.
And Matt, sense? I've got those. I think Dave's got those up. Those other images up and ready.
I'm also there, Kyle. I was expecting 1, 2. Like, give me a second to put a slideshow together with them.
Okay. And before we get too far into his photos, the next part of what I'm trying to say is going to illustrate how I tell whether or not a photo is real or fake. So if I can get through the rest of this, Wotan, is that okay? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So can we go to slide 8? So cui bono is a Latin phrase, which I use as my first line of defense whenever I'm asking whether or not an image is real or an image is fake. And cui bono in Latin means who benefits. Understanding a motive can shed light on whether or not an image might be an original. So knowing the source of an image and what platform it's being promoted on, or how it's oh man, I shouldn't big words. Whether or not it's proliferating can indicate an image's authenticity. If we go to slide 9. So this is an image that you've probably seen in textbooks, but whether or not you knew, this image is actually a composite. Do you know why this image is a composite, Wotan?
Why it's a composite? No.
I have a guess. To make the army look bigger.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, if we go to the next slide, slide 10, what we can do is actually when we look at images, we can actually linearly approximate the shadows from different subjects in the image. And what we see here are these lines. These lines represent a linear shadow from the source to the actual point at which the shadow reaches the ground. And as you can see in the background, you have horses and tents, which reach long shadows that go off to the right of camera. But on the foreground, we have a horse that's lit from above, as if the sun's at noon, coming straight down. And so when you look at this image, your eye is telling you subconsciously, this image is fake. There's a reason I don't trust this image. But with forensics, with digital forensics, and with forensics training, you can actually give concrete reasons why an image is fake. Do you see what I'm trying to get at, Wotan?
Right.
Okay. So can we go to the next slide? So this is more a current example. I don't know if you remember a viral video of a hawk or an eagle trying to carry away a kid. It was widely debunked on the internet by a couple of debunkers. But this is a graphic representation of vanishing point perspective and the way that shadows naturally play in a real photograph. And as you can see with the yellow lines, you see the angle at which the light is hitting those subjects. And then as you see the CG elements that are integrated into the shot have the wrong angle. They're represented in blue. So do you see how we can spot CG, some of the methods that we use to spot CG in imagery, Wotan?
Sure.
Okay. So if we go next to the next slide, next slide is just a simple eye that has this is what's called a specular reflection. A specular reflection is the highlights from source light, the highlights on soft surfaces in the eyes that come from source lights. And a lot of times we can tell if two subjects are in the same frame if they don't belong in the same photo because they have different specular highlights in their eyes and on their skin. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Cool. If we go to the next slide.
And just to let you know, Matt, whenever you're ready to go to the other ones, they're up and loaded too.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to get through some of the methods, how I determine whether an image is fake. Okay.
Sure.
So is this image fake? Anyone?
No.
Okay. Why?
The lighting matches number one.
So this is a really hard.
Actually,
so this is a really hard example.
I'm looking at the rightmost cow, and something looks wrong with that cow. It looks
so glad
like
you
it's
said
been
that. So
inserted into the picture almost.
yeah. So what this illustrates is the brain's ability for having that skepticism triggered, because you can't. What you're experiencing is what I see in a lot of these flat Earth videos. Is, hey, for some reason my mind is not letting me accept what I'm seeing, but I can't quantify it. And what my effort here is to quantify that feeling of why you feel like you can't trust this image. I don't trust this image either, and the way I would quantify why I don't trust this image is if you look at the lighting of this image, it's overcast. And what happens on days that are overcast is there's no hard shadows on anything. What we have is what's called ambient occlusion shadows or contact shadows, where images or objects that are closer together will naturally create a darkness between them because there's less light reflecting in the three-dimensional space that's between those objects. So if we see the underside of the cow, you notice that it's darker than the top of the cow, even though there's no hard shadows. That's because the underside of the cow is closer to the surface of the earth. And there's less light reflecting in that volume. Does that make sense? So if you look at the ambient occlusion shadows on the two cows on the left, and then you look at the ambient occlusion shadow on the cow that's on the right, you'll notice that they have a different density, which means that the cow on the right has more light rays that are reflecting in the volume between the surface of its stomach and the surface of the ground. Does that make sense?
Do you mean to tell me that the cows, like for the Chick-fil-A commercials, that's photoshopped? Those cows aren't really holding up signs?
No, those are real cows. We train them to stand on two legs. Yeah.
Sweet. Just making sure.
So would you say that it's photoshopped because it has to be?
Well, go to the next slide and we'll see. So this is the original image that I found online. And so as you can see, if you click between the two, you'll see the original image versus the composite. And this is a good example of what I'm trying to say, Wotan, is that just being able to say, oh, this image is fake because I think it's fake is not enough. Like, we need people who are trained analysts and trained with a specific methodology that reflects the real world, so that we can determine whether or not an image is fake 100%. So if you go to the next slide, there's another example of how images are faked in advertising. Does anybody know what's wrong with this?
Oh, the
The leg in
shadow.
the back doesn't have a shadow. The shadow is totally
Yeah.
fake.
The shadow's
Yeah,
all
shadow's
wrong
totally
for the
fake.
lighting on the screen. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the more obvious examples. So we can actually dive further than just the visual examination of a photo. So if we go to the next slide, I'll explain what ELA is. So ELA is error level analysis, and it's one of the methods we determined in determining whether or not an image is altered. And ELA will allow an analyst the ability to see discrepancies in the compression of an image. So every time you snap a photo, the sensor is actually digitizing all the light beams that are coming in into pixels. And there's a lot of information that goes into a raw photo. So when you take a raw photo and you put it in Photoshop and then you save it out, you instantly degrade the compression, the native compression of that photo. So anytime somebody snaps a photo and then imports it into Photoshop and augments it, it actually gives a signature on the exact pixels that were altered. Because without getting too complicated into it, the way that pictures are encoded is they're encrypted with a hash key. And so that hash key is specific to that photo and the method that hash uses to encode that photo. So it's a digital signature. Every pixel is a digital signature on top of the previous pixel. So when you alter an image, you're erasing that signature and writing your own signature in there. And that's how photo analysts can determine if an image is fake. So if we go to the next slide, I'll show you exactly how this works. So this is an image. What's fake in this image?
Dinosaur.
Yeah, the dinosaur. Anything else?
I would say the replication of the books may be fake.
Yep. Let's go to the next slide. So the next slide is the ELA of the previous photo. And what this shows us is where compression artifacts do not line up with the background noise, where we can say, okay, this photo is fake because these images were sourced from another photo and then composited onto one another. And the white noise that you're seeing is the signature that's been erased and written over. And that's how an ELA analysis can give us insights into how an image is faked. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see the original image. This is what was originally there. So the next slide is a photo of Earthrise, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So I actually personally looked up the highest res photo that I could find online. And I did an ELA analysis of it. If you go to the next slide, you'll see that ELA analysis. So what this ELA analysis shows us is that this image has been captured and then digitally compressed, but the ELA noise does not indicate that there's been any compositing into this frame. And to show you a contrast, we go to the next slide. This is real or fake?
Real.
I don't know. That
real.
looks like
It is real.
Starman right there.
No, it's obviously fake. Now let's see its ELA analysis on the next slide. So as you can see, the sharp contrast and the difference in noise levels between the Earth, the Moon, and the car. What this shows us is there's a discrepancy in these noise levels and that their compression algorithm is completely different. And so we're able to see on a technical base level of how these are two different images composited together. Here's one that you might actually be familiar with. You go to the next slide.
Well, in that image
Kyle-
back there, in that image, the
Go ahead.
moon didn't look the same as the Earth.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
The
And-
ELA
and-
signature is not the same as the Earth.
Not necessarily. This is a really low.
And like,
res
what's the
representation.
methodology of you determining whether the ELA signature is actually dead on accurate or it's like slightly off? If it's slightly off, it means it's fake. or if,
Yeah,
there's
so-
things that like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. And to read an ELA analysis, there's actually a great tutorial which I can provide the link to that will allow you to take tests and actually develop your skills at reading ELA analysis. So one of the objectives I have today is actually providing you with this tool and letting you learn it and go ahead and determine what these images, like on a daily basis, whether or not they're real or fake. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you this tool. So go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's like giving a third grader a tool that an electrician uses and be like, oh yeah, here, take this and you could tell whether this is AC or DC, but they're not going to know how to use it because they're not professionally minded enough to use it.
This image right here too, just to say, this was an image that was photoshopped. Remember that? So this wasn't an example of an image where everything is even.
Yeah,
or everything's supposed to line
the
up.
moon could be fake. The moon could be fake. The car's obviously fake. At least I hope it's
And
fake.
the Earth can be
I
fake.
hope we didn't actually do that. Yeah, the Earth can be fake, but you have to. The tutorials for how to read the ELA analysis are available online. Everything's available. What I'm doing is putting this ball in your court. Okay, so that if you decide that you want to go down this road, you can accurately determine if an image is composite or not. So can we go to the next image on 24? All right, Kyle and GE, is this image real?
Obviously not, because we did not go to the moon. GE?
Well, no, answer it for real, Kyle. Is this image real?
I'm gonna say
Cognitive dissonance.
I'm gonna say yes.
I would say no, because the Earth wouldn't be visible with that exposure.
That's actually a great methodology of how to determine whether or not that's a real photo. Go to the ELA analysis.
Hold on.
Nope.
Yeah.
Sorry, GE.
No, I was trying to answer, but I was muted.
Oh, what did you think?
Huh?
Do you think it's real or fake?
No. I mean, I was before you showed the ELA, I was gonna say there seems to be some sort of compression box error kind of thing around the Earth there. So I mean, I was gonna say that it looks composited.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And these are all great ways of saying definitively and quantifying our doubt in this photo. If we look at the ELA analysis, this actually is corroborated by the ELA analysis, what we're seeing here. And what you can see is a definite compression artifacts around the Earth in a square and extension of the black space in the background. But let me ask you a question, Wotan. Does that mean that this image is not real and this event did not really happen?
I mean, there is not a single human being on the face of Earth who's going to convince me that we ever went to the moon, so I'm just going to say that it's obviously fake.
Okay. Can you go to the next slide? So this is the real photo that the photo earlier was used to make the composite. So here's the real photo, and go to its ELA analysis. So this is a natural ELA analysis where you can see even the volumetric smoke is giving off a background noise that's consistent with the levels that we see in the foreground, the midground, and the background. So this is a natural ELA analysis. So we can determine that this was not composite. Does that make sense?
There's things that, I can't understand, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not on your level of understanding this. I'm not on the level of understanding of how you could fake this. How could maybe you can fake the signature of the ELA to make it look similar, but it's actually fake. You know what I'm saying? There's things about this that like
I'm trying to determine.
That's why I want you to just look at the Earth images and stop setting up these little quizzes and these little sequences, these little examples to try to trick me and to try to fool me. Let's get to the images of Earth, please.
I'm not trying to trick you. I'm trying to communicate to you the methodology I use in determining whether or not an image is fake. So that's all I'm trying to communicate.
He's actually
Would it-
Okay, well
would it
then on
make you
that
feel
measure,
better?
then the spacecraft, the lunar lander is also fake because you see rainbow colors in this. I see yellow, I see purple, I see red, and the astronaut is obviously gray. And then, but then the top of the top of the lunar lander is all gray, but
So
then the
you
middle
just
of it is all these
admitted,
different colors.
you just admitted to me to not, but a minute ago that you don't know what you're looking at, and now you're telling me that because
Well,
you
what
don't
you're saying,
believe
you're saying
there-
that the way that you know that it's fake is if the ELA signature doesn't match the
Right,
image, and
well-
that's how you know it's fake. Okay, well,
Well,
the
it's
lunar
like-
lander doesn't
it
match
has
the
to have,
astronaut,
it
does
has
it?
to have
Well-
consistent background noise, and you have
Well,
to look. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Wotan. He's already said that it's not as simple as just looking at different colors. Basically, he's got a
Okay, so why are we looking
method-
at this then?
well, to illustrate a point. That's it. It's like literally just. saying,
I'm
hey,
trying to
there's-
illustrate to you, Wotan,
there's-
that I'm not just looking at an image. I'm not
Okay,
just
well then
looking
let's
at an
let's
image.
illustrate the points that I have towards the images of
Okay,
Earth, and
okay.
let's stop setting up these stupid little I got you
All right.
questionnaires
Go to
and
the Earth
examples,
images, Dave.
and let's go to the
Dave.
examples of the Earth, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Votan,
Dave,
Votan,
go to the
Votan.
Earth images.
Fine.
For the whole hour, it's all been about you,
Yeah.
you. Let's get to me now. Okay,
Okay, sorry.
this to you is real. Have you seen the full motion image of this, the full motion video of this, of the Earth passing the dark side of the moon?
No, I have not.
You have not. Well, I highly
No.
suggest that you look at it. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
it doesn't show the moon spinning, which it should be. Okay, the moon should be spinning with the Earth because the moon, only one side of the moon is always facing the Earth, so the moon also has to be spinning with the same land as the Earth. Otherwise, you would see other sides of it. But then you don't see
Okay.
the moon spinning in this image. You see the moon go from the left side of the frame to the right side of the frame. You don't see the moon spin, not one single degree, nothing at all. And also, you don't see it go around the Earth. You just see the moon go straight across the Earth, straight across. It doesn't turn around the Earth. It just goes straight directly across.
Okay.
Okay, and what's this
And-
green? What's this green stuff on the edge of the moon? What's that?
That's called chromatic aberration. It's when you're using extremely sensitive lenses. Sometimes what they do is as the light flows through them and they hit the sensor, the chromatic aberration is the separation that glass naturally gives to light. There's actually when you shine a light through a prism, the lens actually does the same thing, but on a very, very tiny scale. So when you're photographing very, very large things with very, very sensitive lenses, what it's doing is it can actually cause chromatic aberration, where as the light passes through the lens, it will separate like a prism, but very, very tiny. And we actually, part of my job when I do compositing is actually to simulate chromatic aberration. We actually have tools that allow us to do this, so that when you look at an image that's fake or CGI'd in a movie, it looks real because everything that you've been conditioned to understand, from volumetrics to caustics to the way photons naturally bounce off of images and come through lenses, like we want to make that exactly what you would expect to see. So we actually simulate this in CGI movies.
Right. So all of the examples that I'm seeing of chromatic aberration show that the entire image, the entire border of the image that's being chromatically aberrated is blurred out, not
Sure.
just one side.
Sure, yeah. So chromatic aberration is a really popular tool to use to give what we call grime to your images. And so people naturally hyperbolize it. So a lot of the photos that you're going to see are going to be photos of where people have pushed, as an example, the chromatic aberration to its limits. When it's naturally being seen in an image where we don't want it to be, the effort would be to minimize chromatic aberration the most, right? Because we want the truest to life example of that image. So why would we make it worse? Why would we hyperbolize that effect? It doesn't make sense.
Why don't you just remove it completely? And isn't
Well,
this
because
NASA
we're
the most
talking-
advanced space administration on Earth, and they have all of these kind of anomalies in their images that if I could go on like Fiverr.com right now and I can ask them for an image, and I guarantee you they're going to do the most professional job that you've ever seen of an image that I want them to do, because that's what they're being paid to do. So these people are getting $52 million a day to give us the worst images that I've ever seen in my entire life of the Earth.
So
And now another point that you had about the faked images was also about the motive of the person who published the image, right? So obviously NASA obviously has an extreme, huge, the biggest motive on the face of the earth, more than anything I could ever imagine. They want people to believe that the earth is round, that men are flying around in spaceships, flying around the earth, millions of miles an hour, whatever they were, 27,000 miles an hour, going to the moon, doing all this complete, absolute, utter nonsense. They want them to believe that. Otherwise, what happens? Then they're going to get shut down, right? So obviously, they have a motive if they're getting $52 million a day.
Okay,
What
sorry,
would their motive be? Sorry,
to make people. What do you mean? What would they? Do you understand if people understood if the entire world believed that the Earth was flat, NASA would be completely defunded. There'd be no funds for NASA at all. Because everything that they put out would be called bullshit. It would be called fake. Everything is just it's just nonsense what they put out. You understand? It's complete nonsense.
Who controlled the flow of round Earth information before NASA?
The flow of information of round Earth information.
Who was the NASA before NASA was a thing?
Who was the Space Administration before Space Administration?
Who were the people who were lying to the public and pushing globe Earth before NASA?
The scientists of the day. I don't know.
Okay, and then before them, who was it?
Well, we're going to like this deductive reasoning. Like I'm talking about these images now. NASA has a motive now.
I want to. Okay, the Earth is flat. I want to know, Wotan. Like,
because you want to know. Okay, so I'm asking you to look at these images.
Is vapid. It's not giving me anything, any information, any concrete information. So I'm asking you these questions.
I'm using your own.
Because
I'm using
if you
your
can
own
answer
motive.
these questions, if you can answer these questions, you can convince me the Earth is flat.
I'm using your own. I'm using your own methodology.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. And who was telling everybody that the Earth was a globe before the scientists, before NASA?
Galileo, Copernicus, Newton, all of these, the one who did the freaking gravity experiment. How did I forget that guy's name? Wow.
Cavendish.
Cavendish, right? Cavendish. All these guys, people telling. Okay,
and then before these philosophers and the scientists using the scientific method and the Enlightenment, even before that, the people thought the Earth was round. So who was telling them the Earth was round and hiding the secret from the people?
Okay, people also believed at the same time that the Earth was flat. Also, so it's really that this argument makes no sense, because at the same time, throughout history, throughout all of time, there have been people who believing that the Earth was flat and people who have been believing that the Earth was round. So it doesn't matter. This argument is going nowhere.
Right?
It's going nowhere.
How do we determine who is right?
By examining the evidence for both cases and seeing which one is real and which one is fake. And that's why you're on the show. I'm going to show you all these images of Earth that I have. There's 4 more images that I have, 3 more images that I have, not just this one. And I would like your expert and now unbiased. I know that you're a globalist, so it's really impossible to be unbiased, because obviously you don't ever, again, I'm pretty sure even you have a motive to not say that anything I'm saying is real, or anything, or any image that I'm going to show you is actually fake, because then your reputation is on the line, because then you finds out that you were on the show this tonight, and they find out that, oh wow, did you think that one of the images of Earth is fake? Then who knows?
You never shut the fuck up.
When a host tells you to be quiet, be quiet.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breather.
Just hold on, okay? Now, Wotan, you've said that this is obviously faked, but I haven't really heard a reason why it's faked.
I said the reason why, because the moon goes from the left side of the image to the right side of the image without going around the Earth. It's just going from the left to the right. Like I could just go in Photoshop. Literally, I can go into Adobe Premiere Pro. I could take that image of the moon. I could put it to the left side of the frame, and I can make it scale across to the right side of the frame and it doesn't spin at all. It doesn't even spin. So if it's not spinning, it can't be real.
Well,
you could just make composite images and just put them together frame by frame and just make it appear that it's really spinning, but it's not.
You know the moon's totally locked, right?
Yeah. Can I get in here for a minute? So first of all, Wotan, in our conversation on the comments, and even I feel right now, you tell me if I'm wrong, I've been very generous. And I haven't assumed what you think. In fact, I asked you to explain to me, like, what is flat Earth at the beginning, okay? So that we can work off of your definition. I'm trying to be as charitable as I can.
Water.
So when you turn around, when you turn around and you tell me like I'm part of a conspiracy, I'm brainwashed, and all this stuff.
I never
like,
said that.
that's like the okay. When you're not equally charitable, this conversation grinds to a halt. Okay, so I'm not trying to trick you. I'm trying to tell you the methodology that we use in digital forensics. Now, if you find an error in the methodology that I'm implementing, you tell me.
First, I want you to look at the images and then tell me from your years of experience working with CGI, working with composite images, working with, who knows what other kind of programs you use. From your experience, look at the images the same way you made me do with your images.
Yes.
I would like to do that with you, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. I would like you to do that, and then you tell me whether the images are fake or not.
Okay, so first of all, I will do that. That's perfectly reasonable. However, at the beginning, my first point when we started this conversation was a cursory examination of an image is not going to determine accurately whether or not it's fake. So,
well, the thing is that all of the ones
with that in mind, I'll take a look at this image and tell you with a useless cursory examination of this image what I think about it. Will that make you happy?
Now, mind you, I did better than every single person on this panel at that test. Thank you very much. I did better than Dallas and the engineer. I did better than Kyle. I did better than just about everybody on this test. So that's first of all. Okay. Second of all, there are anomalies that I got like 4 wrong out of 25. I think that's a lot better than chance, honestly.
What are the anomalies in this picture? Wotan?
I think that's a lot better than chance.
Besides the moon spinning, because the moon is tidally locked to our planet, so it's not going to spin. So
right, but if the Earth is spinning, you're going to see the other side of the moon as the Earth is spinning, and you don't see that. You just see one perfectly still image of the Earth. And it doesn't move. It doesn't go around the Earth. It just goes from left to the right.
No, the moon does have a rotation. That's why we only see the one face of the moon.
Yeah. So if you have an object that's rotating. Okay, and then you have an object outside of it that's in its gravity, and it's, oh god, here I am talking about earth science. This is not my field. And you have that moon has to spin at an opposite rate to not rotate. Does that make sense? Like it's almost as if it's rotating with the Earth. That's
right. But you're seeing the other side of the Earth as the Earth is spinning. You're seeing more landmass as the Earth is spinning, but you're not seeing the moon, right? So there's a problem there.
Are you saying that you have a problem
in this video that this still image is from? Okay, in the video that this still image is from, you see the Earth spinning underneath. You see more landmass, more ocean, more clouds spinning underneath it, but you don't see that with the moon. The moon is a perfectly still, fake, photoshopped, composited, plastered, overlaid image on top of the Earth that just goes from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. You don't see any more of the moon as you do with the Earth.
Yeah, I'm watching the video that is from this image is from. Okay, so if you have a camera, I'm assuming you've shot things on a camera before, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you have a camera and you're looking through it with your eyes, and there's a crowd of people, and you're moving from left or from right to left or left to right, whatever it is. Who moves faster on the frame that you're looking through? Is the people closer to you or the people farther away from you?
The people closer to you.
Okay. So is that principle of what we call parallax, is that true for the whole universe?
Sure.
Okay. So why would it not be true when I look at this video of the moon in the foreground moving faster than the moon than the Earth in the background? Why would that not be true?
Well, you don't see the moon spin at all. Okay, when you're taking an image of people close to you or people farther away from you, the people farther away from you, you see them move. You see some parallax, but in this image, you don't see anything at all. Look at how fake this is. Come on, man. How can you not look at that and just think it's fake? It is just so fake. You just look at it and you know that it's fake.
Wotan, see, here's the problem I'm trying to illustrate. Yeah, this is the problem we're all trying to illustrate to you, that I really want you to understand. You're just saying, oh, look, it's just fake. And what we're saying is that,
Absolutely.
cool, we're not disagreeing with you, but your methodology is, we're always asking you, what's your methodology? And all you answer is, well, just look at it, it's fake. And
No,
the
I said that the
beginning,
moon is not spinning. That's one of the reasons why I said that it's not. It's
Okay.
not. You're not
And
seeing any other side of the moon. The moon is obviously spinning in space, because otherwise, forget it.
Yes.
The moon has to be spinning with the Earth. Otherwise, you can't see the same
Again-
side of the moon every day. Okay. So
Again,
not only that,
but if you-
but you don't see the moon going around the Earth. All you see is the moon going from the left side of the frame to the right side of the frame, and that's it. That's all you see. It is completely fake.
I understand that.
It takes
Okay,
So
that is the
if-
methodology.
around the Earth. It takes a
That is the
month.
methodology, not just you look at it as fake. The reason why I'm looking at it and that I think that it's fake is because of those two reasons.
Wotan, how long is that video?
I don't know,
How
5-10
long-
seconds.
how many- It's 5 seconds long. I'm looking at the same thing over here. Do you know how long it takes for the Earth to orbit around? I'm sorry, for the moon to orbit around the Earth.
What does that have
we lose
anything
them?
to do with what we're talking about?
It's about. So, can you answer the question?
We're determining whether the image is fake. I thought we're not getting into Earth science, though. I thought we're not getting into the Earth science.
Yes.
We're determining whether the image is fake by based on your expertise. You looking at it and you determining whether it's fake or not.
I know, and I'm trying to walk you through how I determine.
I'm not getting into Earth science. Sorry, I'm not getting into Earth science. You're not getting into Earth science.
Okay.
Neither am I. I'm going off
Somebody else-
your
somebody else wanna
expertise.
answer the question?
Just
Does somebody else want to
just
answer the question? How long does it take for the moon to go around the Earth? Somebody said it earlier. A
It
month.
takes about a month. That's why it's called a month.
Yeah, it's a month, because yes, it takes a month for the moon to go around the Earth. So in 5 seconds, your complaint is, I'm not seeing it rotate, and I'm saying, yeah, I totally agree. It wouldn't rotate if it takes a month to rotate, and you're only looking at 5 seconds of that rotation. You're not going to that rotation's going to be imperceptible to the human eye, which is
First of all, you're not
going
looking
back.
at. You're not good.
Going
You're
back to the
not
point I made
looking
earlier,
at.
which is
Wotan, you gotta
humans
let him finish, man.
can't
You gotta let him
determine
finish.
that. Yeah, which is going back to my example earlier. Humans can't determine with a cursory visual examination very well, beyond the rate of chance, whether or not an image is real or an image is fake.
Okay, do
Your
you understand?
score does not reflect your aptitude at doing that. The average human score at that test is literally 52%.
Well,
That
I
is
did a much higher than
worse.
52%. 4 out of 25 is much
You
higher than
did.
52%. I don't know what math you're thinking of,
But you-
but the math I'm
you're
thinking
right.
of, that's a lot higher than chance. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, you're
Obviously,
right.
I'm a lot better than looking at
But-
images than you, maybe. I don't know. That might be something.
But would you be willing to take a similar test? The
No,
exact same
no, no,
test
no,
for
no. We're
25
taking my test now. We're taking the Wotan test now. We're taking the Wotan test. I'm sick and tired
All
of
right,
your
let's go to
test.
the
We're
second.
taking my
Let's go to the
test now.
second image. Let's go to the second image.
No, no. First of all,
Let's go to the
I'd like
second
to make a
image.
point. I'd like to make a point about that. First of all, I'd like to make a point
Okay,
about that.
okay.
So, in this 5 seconds of that video, number one, that's not obviously not 5 seconds of the Earth spinning. Otherwise, if that was 5 seconds of the Earth spinning, the moon would be moving around the Earth, and the Earth would be spinning at hundreds of millions of miles an hour. Obviously, that's not just 5 seconds of the Earth
He's
moving
talking about
from
the
left
length
to
of the
right.
video. He's talking about the length
Right,
of the video.
the length of the video, but he's correlating the length of the video to how much the moon goes around the Earth in a month, and that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right, but what he's saying is,
You don't- so you're wrong about that.
It takes nearly a month to to go all the way around. So you're just seeing a portion of it in that 5 seconds.
Listen. You're wrong about that because he was trying to correlate. No. I speak. No. You're correlating how long it takes the moon to go around the Earth, and you're comparing it to 5 seconds of the video length. First of all, the video length has absolutely, positively nothing to do with how long that moon is going around the Earth. Okay, that video could have been. It could have been. 15 hours of exposure. It could have been. Who knows how long that camera was
So
up there
we can
looking at them to
actually-
give us that footage.
Can we pull up that video? So if I'm a digital forensics analyst and you asked me how long, you're right, that's a stop. That's not exactly 5 seconds of Earth time. We can actually determine by
It's
looking
much
at this
longer.
video. Okay, but I can tell you how long it is. Do you want me to tell you and how I'm going to determine that?
Go right ahead,
Or do
but
you not
it is
want me?
definitely a
Okay.
lot longer than 5 seconds, buddy. That's for damn
Okay.
sure.
Do you want to know
right?
how long? Okay. Do you see the specularity of the sun on the surface of the Earth?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Okay. So that means that we're looking from a satellite view at the Earth, and the sun's behind us. So rationally, if we look at that surface and that specularity, that gives us a way of measuring how fast the Earth is spinning. At the beginning of the video, that specular highlight is around the time zone of, like, what is that, Arizona, California, right?
Right.
On the Earth. Does that make
Looks like
sense?
a blob
Okay.
of crap to me. I have no idea what landmass that is. I see Australia come up in the bottom right now, but
As the Earth spins, that specular highlight ends at approximately the middle, or no, it even goes almost all the way to Australia. So would it be rational? And I mean, guys, jump in. Earth science is not my thing. I'm just going off of digital forensics. Would it be rational to assume if we measured the time zone change from the approximate time that that specular highlight starts to where it ends?
listen. We're getting way too into
determine-
this earth science that neither
Well,
you
well,
nor me.
well,
Listen,
well,
this is
Mute-
not your
mute
field of
Wotan for a
expertise.
second. Hey,
The
whoa,
point
whoa,
that I'm-
whoa, whoa,
Wotan.
Wotan, Wotan, you're not gonna hijack
You're
this.
not
Listen,
gonna run. You're not gonna run
you
this.
made a comment about you made an issue about the time frame that we were talking about here, and he just brought up a really good point on how to show you how long you're seeing that that time lapse for. It starts in California, it ends in Australia, so that's easily calculable.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
but
about
it's
a
longer than 5
14-hour
seconds.
difference. That's a
14
14-hour difference.
What
There.
can I interject real quick?
Yes,
That's
Yes.
a lot
yes,
longer than
please.
5 seconds.
Okay. So pulling straight from the NASA site about this exact thing, which is actually in the video that we've got playing here. The images were taken between 3:50 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 16th. Of I want to say it was like 2015, maybe. Yeah,
And I
2015.
was just gonna say, roughly by time zones, that would be about a 5 or 6 hour difference between those two pictures. It'd be
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be 14 if you went the other way.
Yeah,
If you,
Yeah,
14 the
okay,
other
yeah,
way.
yeah, it's the other way. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
let me just Google something really quick. How many hours are in a month? So it's 730 hours, right? So we're talking about how many hours was it? 5 hours?
5 hours.
5 hours
About
out
5
of
hours.
730. So that could give us, so we can actually measure the rotation of the moon and the Earth, like in relation to the Earth. And I guarantee you that measurement would be minuscule. Well, I mean, we're talking about these 5 out of 730. What is
You're
that?
seeing a
Like,
fraction, Wotan. You're seeing
yeah,
a fraction of the.
you're seeing a fraction of that rotation.
We can
So
all agree
here's
that it is a lot longer
frustration
than 5
you're
seconds,
bringing
and
up-
you should see
Oh,
some
for
other part of
yes.
the moon as it is transiting over the Earth.
Yes, Wotan. It's longer than 5
Thank you.
seconds.
Okay, next image.
Let's
Thank
go.
you. Next
Let's go to
image.
image number 2. You're kicking our ass tonight.
No, let's go to
Wotan.
number 1. Let's go to number 1. Let's go to number 1. The first link that I sent you.
Dave.
Give me a second. You guys got me opening things left and right. Your images are not numbered
Sorry,
in
Dave.
order, Wotan.
Should just be 1.
There's
No,
That
that's
one,
not
Wotan?
it. That's not it. Nope. I literally
Is it
numbered them.
triple-
I numbered them. The first one.
That's not.
I
how
copied and
received
pasted
them.
Wotan. He doesn't have the numbers.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Keep going. Keep cycling. Right there, that one. Okay. So, can you tell me on what order of chance it would take? Now, obviously, when we look up in the sky, we see a horse's head cloud figuration or a peach or, whatever, a banana, whatever. What are the chances that when this cloud configuration not only draws an S, sometimes you see letters too, right? Sometimes you see a letter, maybe like a letter L in a cloud formation or a letter, an O, whatever. What are the odds that you have an S, an E, and an X all together to form a word?
No.
Not X, not XSE, not ESX, not XES, but SEX, left to right, the direction that people who read English read. Though it said sex, perfectly right there in the clouds. What are the
Well-
odds of that happening
well-
with clouds?
Wotan, no,
Go-
I can't let you do this to yourself. Not even you. No.
No, I'll
What-
answer
what are
that.
the odds?
Pareidolia.
No. Listen. No.
Pareidolia.
Don't throw me to the same bucket as that lunatic that you had on the other day, okay? Because that's not that. That he is.
Don't act
seeing
like him
eagles.
then.
No.
don't-
This is a
don't act
word.
like
It's a
him then.
word. It's a word. It's a
I
word.
want to make.
I'm not saying that a
progress.
living organism lives in the clouds like he is. Okay, that guy's literally insane. He's completely insane. Okay, I would agree with that. Okay, this is a word
So I
that
want
you
to
can read.
move this conversation forward. So I'll answer the question. Yes, your question was, what's the chances that 3 consecutive letters of the alphabet would appear in the clouds over the Earth or on the Earth? And I would say it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Wow, that's a really expert analysis of this image that you're saying it's pretty good. Wow, that's actually fascinating. I absolutely guarantee you. I absolutely guarantee you, if you were to see this anomaly, this is an anomaly. This is a 100% complete and utter definition of anomaly. You should not be seeing words being displayed in the clouds because that is absolutely of order impossible. Like 3 letters
Have
and
you ever
one
seen-
up.
Hold on.
I see elephants and rabbits
That's
in the
first of all.
clouds, but I
So,
do.
second of all,
Hold
if you were to see,
wait.
let me finish my point. Let me just finish my point.
Wotan,
Let me just finish my point. Let me just finish briefly.
is there really
If
a
you were
Jesus
to see-
in
if you were-
that asshole of a dog?
I didn't even hear what you just said. Thank you for interrupting. If
So-
you were to
so
see
go ahead,
this
Wotan.
anomaly, in any of the images that you said, is it Photoshop or is it fake? You would absolutely say that it is Photoshop because this is an anomaly. This is not supposed to be there. And saying this is not in reality. You don't see this in reality. Okay, this is fake.
I guess my question to you would be, so what? Like, what
Well,
is
then it's
so?
fake. Okay, so what? It's fake.
Okay,
You-
no,
next
that's,
image.
no. That's a question. That's not rhetorical. That's not rhetorical. I'm asking you the question. Somebody wrote sex in the clouds. Why?
Right. Because
Why?
it's fake.
No. Why would somebody
What do you mean?
write sex in the clouds?
Because there's a thing, even with Disney, like if you look at actually the relationship between Disney and NASA, it's actually striking the relationship that Disney and NASA have. If you look in the Lion King cartoon, it's actually the same exact thing. It's actually the same exact thing. And there's a Lion King cartoon, the movie Lion King, the old movie, the original. If you look at the scene where Mufasa or someone, whatever the frick their names are, is on the mountain, and you look in the clouds, you see again sex in the clouds. Oh wow! If you look at the Little Mermaid, the cover of Little Mermaid, you see a giant penis in the castle.
Where-
Oh wow! Wonder why that is. What is it? What does it matter? Why? What is the question?
It
Why
matters
doesn't mean anything. The fact that it's there
because
proves that
let's
is an
say this image is
anomaly
fake.
and lends credence to the fact that this image is faked.
Okay, so the image is faked to say sex in the clouds. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that the image is that it's impossible for the word sex to be in the clouds, and whoever authored this image doctored the image and put the
You're
word
missing
sex
his
in the
point,
clouds.
Wotan. Wotan,
No,
Wotan,
I-
you're missing his
I get
point.
what he's saying. I get what he's saying. What he's saying is that the entire image is fake. The globe is fake. Everything is fake because the artist left a telltale sign of a joke
No.
saying sex in the clouds. Is that what you're saying?
That's not exactly what I'm saying. It is a compiling of evidence. I forgot the phrase for it. It is there's so many things
Preponderance
with
of
all of these
evidence.
preponderance of there you go.
Preponderance of
Preponderance of evidence. There you go. Thank you. The preponderance of evidence with you look at each and every single image of Earth. You look at all of them. There's this one giant anomaly with it, and then you look at another one. There's another giant anomaly. Look at another one. There's another giant anomaly. But then when you put them all together, why are there all of these anomalies with the images of the Earth? Now, if you look at one single one, but if you look at one single image and you pick up that one anomaly, it doesn't mean that the whole image is fake, right? Because it could be.
Let me ask
real.
you a question, Wotan.
Maybe somebody went to Photoshop and just just to fuck around, put sex in the clouds. But when you see
Like a serious
all
question.
of the images of Earth.
Serious question, Wotan. If I took a picture of you, let's say I had a picture, like a headshot of you, and I took hair and made the word sex out of hair, and I superimposed it over top of your headshot, does that mean that your headshot is not real? Like that's not real of you? Would that negate the entire headshot and mean that you're
No.
fake?
That's not the point
Okay.
I'm trying to say. It's saying that the preponderance of evidence with each and every single image of Earth proves that each and every
Using
single
that
Earth
word-
has been doctored, composited, faked.
Can you explain to me what preponderance of evidence means?
Meaning an accumulation of evidence.
Okay. What's an accumulation? Like how many pieces of evidence do we need for it to be a preponderance?
I mean, that's completely arbitrary. There is no set amount. I mean, there's no literal definition.
So
like, oh,
if I had,
5, there's no number.
Wotan. So what you just said to me was there's no difference between somebody that comes to me with a preponderance of evidence, including one image, and somebody that comes to me with a preponderance of evidence with 100 images. There's no difference in their preponderance of evidence.
No, and because one is not a preponderance, one is not an accumulation.
Okay.
One is one. One
So
is not multiple.
what is the delineation? When does it become a preponderance of evidence?
I don't know. Maybe when every single image of the Earth has an anomaly, when every single one that you look at has an anomaly, I would say that's definitely a preponderance of evidence.
Okay, so if you have, so your burden of proof right now is you have to prove every single image of the Earth is 100% fake.
They are
Is that what
all
you're telling me?
altered, doctored, composited. Yes.
Faked. Just say faked. Does that work?
They're all altered, like in your definition of altered.
And
where
how
they're-
are you going to do? How are you going to do that? How are you
What do
going
you
to
mean, how?
prove all of these images are fake?
That's why you're here.
No, because
But you have no motive. But you have no motive to do that because you don't want to be that guy.
I've given. Hold on. Again, charitable. I've not assumed anything about your character. Please don't assume anything of mine. Now, I've given you the tools that I use to do that, to determine whether or not an image is fake. And Guy, GE, Kyle, anybody, please, did I not make that clear? Like I'll be willing to admit that I have a problem with communicating, and it's hard for me to communicate sometimes. So tell me if I got that wrong, if I didn't explain my methodology correctly. Kyle, GE, right?
No. I think you did. No, I mean, I understood you fine.
Okay. So Wotan, I've given you the way that I do this. I've given you the methodology I use, and according to the methodology I use, the results that I can give you are going to be inconclusive, because you're going to tell me to give you a cursory examination of a visual image, and I'm going to tell you it looks real to me. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's not a reliable way of determining whether or not an image is real or fake. And so I want to tell you, I want to give you definitive answers, but I can't do that without employing some kind of methodology. And the methodology you're giving me that you're using, that you want me to examine these images according to your methodology, which is just look at it, it's fake. And I'm telling you that's not how.
The methodology of you determining whether this image is faked is you looking at the clouds and you seeing something which is absolutely, completely, and utterly impossible. There's a chance for it is a 1 in 100 trillion chance or whatever. But what are you ever going to bet on something that's a 1 in 100 trillion chance? You know what? I'm going to go with Occam's razor and just say that, you know what? I think it's fake.
Ding.
Have you ever walked through life and done a double take on anything, a person, place, thing, anything? You had to look at an image or thing twice because you weren't sure what you saw the first time.
Sure.
Okay. What happened in your brain? What happened that made you look again?
There's just things that you see with it that just don't match up with reality, and you just want to look at it again to see if what you're seeing is real or not.
Cool. Right. Have you ever looked at something and saw something else? Like, have you ever looked in the waves of the ocean and seen the face of somebody? Have you ever looked at a piece of toast and thought, hey, the shape of the burn marks in this toast looks like a building?
I've never seen that, but I'm pretty sure it's possible.
Okay. So you don't deny that that's something that could or could not, that's something we agree could happen. Okay. Does that make sense?
I would say looking at a face, because obviously you have that thing called pareidolia where people just see faces everywhere. I think that's actually a different phenomenon, the one that they see faces.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot
doesn't
different.
Matter. I could see that as being a different phenomenon, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm not asking you about faces. I'm asking you about things. Okay. So have you ever seen abstract art?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Abstract art is literally an abstraction of the shapes of a subject. It's a representation of that subject. So what I'm trying to illustrate is that we can see things that are not concretely represented in reality. The way you look at abstract art, the way you look at that piece of toast, your mind is tricked. It's not tricked. Your mind is working perfectly well. That's what it's built to do, is to look at these things and see those patterns. Pareidolia specifically is about identifying faces in objects, but we do that with everything. We do that with words, like in our alphabets. Like if you showed this picture to somebody in India, would they see the word sex? No, because they don't use our alphabets. So if there's this grand conspiracy to control and manipulate the world, like why are there so many?
I don't know. I don't know
why
if
are we
you
so
know.
bad at this conspiracy? Why?
I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know, but there's no one objective human language that everyone on Earth speaks. So it has to be in some language, right? They're going to write sex in some language, and I would say that if they're going to write it in a language, it's going to be the language that they speak, that NASA is a part of, which is America, which is English. They're not going to write it in Indian. They're going to write it in English.
Dave, can you pull that picture back up real quick, and then we'll Wotan, we'll shift to image number 3. Can you just look at this, Wotan, and tell me if you see any dragons?
I don't see anything yet.
No dragons? Okay. All right, Dave,
no,
go
I don't. Oh, on this image, on the Earth image?
Yeah. In the clouds.
With no. A dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we're getting into the pareidolia thing, and pareidolia typically deals with objects, right? It deals with things, not words, right? This is a word. This is SEX. That is
pareidolia deals with any pattern.
It is extremely. It is so much rarer for you to have a perfectly formed word rather than you just see like a banana shape, which is so common, or like a face. You just need like something that looks like a nose to make it look like a face. That's all you need for something to look like a face. Is just have something look like a nose.
I cannot tell you the number of times I've seen the globe Earth and been like, oh God, I gotta fuck something.
Yeah, I still don't know why that would be a relevant word to put on in clouds.
Well, I'm making the correlation. I'll explain. I already know what you're gonna ask. I'm making the correlation that Disney has with NASA. They have a very close relationship, Disney and NASA, number one. Number two, you could see, like I gave you the examples before with Lion King, and you actually see almost the exact same thing. You see in the clouds when Mufasa or whoever it is on the mountain, and then he says you see sex in the clouds. Well, I'm saying it could be the same person. It could be Disney. It could be Disney that's publishing all these images, and maybe Disney has a thing with publishing subliminal messages.
You're not answering the question.
Go ahead.
You're not answering the question. Why? For what purpose would this be necessary?
It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter why. I don't need to know why. Why do I need to know why? What does that matter? It means absolutely nothing. What does that mean?
So
why?
if you're feeling sick,
it doesn't mean that it's real just because I don't know why, and it doesn't mean it's fake just because I do know why. It doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing at all.
If I could, hold on. If I could, officially. Snopes has rated the sex in Lion King to be legend, so that's not actually real. Just saying.
Whether or not this connection exists between Disney and NASA, that's okay. Well, let's assume let's assume for argument's sake that you're right. I still think it's important when we're talking about digital forensics to know the motive behind why an image is altered. That was one of the first points I tried to make. And when I asked you why would this image be altered, you dismiss the relevance of that question. And that's a big problem.
I can't tell you.
If we are able to determine why these images are altered in a specific way, we can then determine their source. We can determine, okay, the motive behind making this is for Disney to make a profit, let's say. I'm just assuming, I don't know. So then we can go to Disney and say, are you making these images? Are you altering these images for the benefit of your corporation? And then and if we find the truth, if we indict them, we give them subpoenas, FBI raids them, they can find that information. Or if somebody just happens to hack into this shit happens all the time. the transmission of information happens very organically. So if we're able to find the reason why they do these things, we can find the source of these faked images. And then we can get down to why they're actually being faked. And what you're telling me is they're faked because NASA is in league with Disney, because in Lion King, there's sex written in the clouds, and in this NASA photo, there's sex written in the clouds. And I still don't really see why they would do that.
It doesn't matter why. It means
No,
absolutely
it
nothing.
does
If I
matter
did
why.
know why, or if I didn't know
telling me,
why,
like,
it doesn't
you
mean
would be
that
the
the word
worst
sex
cop,
is going to
Wotan.
disappear from the clouds. It doesn't
Look,
mean anything.
You would be the quickest fired cop in the world, because you would show up to a crime scene and you say, it doesn't matter why this guy killed this guy. Motive doesn't matter. They just
Well, it's
did
the
it. It
process
just
of
happened.
finding out. We need to find out why,
Are you-
right? And then one of the reasons, I
Okay,
guess,
so-
because there is a
okay, I agree with you
correlation
there.
with Disney
I agree
and,
with
and
you that
NASA.
there's-
Okay, but
I agree
why
with
they're
you that
doing
you're
it, I don't
seeing a
know. I can't
correlation.
go into their minds. I'm not a
Okay.
criminal
We're
investigator.
we're talking over each other. So
Listen,
let's
your
let's
standard
try-
of evidence is like I
Wotan,
need to
mute Wotan, please, Dave. For fuck's sake, Wotan, you gotta goddamn listen when somebody's talking. You can't talk over everybody.
So I agree with you that we need to look into it. But just saying we need to look into it and pissing off, like, doesn't mean anything. Again, like, let's say you're a cop, you show up at a crime scene. You want to establish motive. That's one of the first things you do when establishing a crime timeline. Okay? You're showing up to the crime scene, you're saying, oh yeah, there's a motive here. You guys want coffee? And just leaving. And what I'm saying is that, okay, there's a motive here. Let's find out what that motive is, because then that establishes a timeline. And then that establishes the source, and we can find who's guilty. Does that make sense?
Am I muted?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so number one, I'm not a criminal investigator. I don't know if you know. I'm just someone who just looks at these things, and I can just see that they obviously this is completely fake because you have the word sex in the clouds. I can't know why they do it because I don't have the tools to know why. I can't possibly ever know why. Neither can you. Neither can anybody in this entire world. Neither can probably anybody in the entire world, because maybe the FBI is in on it too, because NASA is a part of the government, and we're just never going to find out because you're never going to find out. So your standard of evidence is something that we can never ever achieve because it's never going to happen, and because it's never going to happen, you're just going to say, oh well, we're never going to know why, so therefore it's real. That's complete bullshit.
Okay. I can see that I have failed in my objective tonight, which was I wanted to present Wotan like with my standard of investigation and to see if that would be able to help you, Wotan. But I don't know, man. Like we're at this point
There's one
right
more
now
image,
where we're going around
Matthew.
in circles. All right,
There's one
okay.
more
Yeah,
image.
there's
let's
one
play the
more,
last
but
image.
I don't think that you have failed tonight. I think that you've done a pretty good job tonight. I just think that your audience is a little dense.
No. I don't want to. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to get on Wotan's case. Like Wotan, I've tried to be as charitable as I possibly can. Like I really want to believe that you can do this. And I still have faith in you. Like I know these guys are laughing at me, but I still have faith that you can learn this. But maybe not. Maybe let's just look at the last image. Let's
look at the last image.
Cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
what do we got
maybe
going on here?
It looks like the globe Earth.
Wotan? Wotan?
Do we lose Wotan?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
Are you there?
What's in this picture?
No, you guys
Wotan?
muted me. So I just wanted to clarify the last point about the detective. Obviously, that's his job. That's what he has to do. Otherwise, he gets fired. It's not my job to know why Disney is putting sex in the clouds. So that's
Okay.
just to clarify that.
Okay.
We've moved on from that.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
go on to this.
What's in this picture?
Okay, I don't know if you could zoom in. I don't know what you're using to use this, but if you could zoom in.
Yeah, we can zoom in.
What do you want me to zoom in
Go
on?
to the southeast region of this image, like southeast of Mexico.
Okay.
Southwest.
Southwest of Mexico. Okay.
Right. Let's go down into the left more. That's a little too much, but all right. Down.
Is there a way to give me the URL for this image so I can just look it on my site?
Yeah, I can send it to
Is
you.
that possible?
What am I looking
Dave,
for?
down into the left, Dave.
Down and to the left.
Down. Yeah, keep going. Go straight down from there.
A
Okay, zoom out right there,
geological-
right about there. Right, go up a little bit. Go up, up. Right there is perfect. Right there is perfect. Okay, so right there. Stop right there. Right there.
I
Perfect.
think I
Perfect.
see what you're
Okay,
talking
perfect.
about.
Okay, you see? No. Stop. Right there.
Just bring
Okay,
it
yeah.
in bigger.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, there you go. Right there. So this is obviously two duplicated clouds, right? Those two clouds that are right in the center of the frame, they're exactly
Yes.
identical, right? Okay, so
Yes.
how does that work?
Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you how I would generate clouds if I was going to make a fake Earth. We have what's called procedural animation or procedural modeling, where you actually put modules of effects and link them in nodes so that they organically build a volume like clouds, for instance. Now we have the technology, like I can do this on a laptop where I make perfectly organic clouds, okay? So if what you're saying, that NASA has this immense amount of resources to CGI millions of photos of the Earth and of clouds, and they have their technology to simulate the Earth, apparently, and they have the technology to digitally recreate these images. And I myself am just a guy with a laptop, and I can make procedural clouds. Do you think that NASA is going to make the mistake of cloning one cloud on this whole image that you zoomed in?
It's not one.
So,
It's
okay,
not
so
one.
even in all the examples that you come up with, what I'm trying to say is you're saying, hey, like this ham radio doesn't work. It must be fake. And I'm saying, dude, we're on the internet now. Like, we gotta, you're way far behind.
That
Like,
example is just wrong. A false equivalence.
You're sitting here trying to tell me that they've cloned and photoshopped this cloud, this one image, and I'm telling you, like, I can create a whole world of clouds for you that none will be anywhere near the other in resemblance, and they're not perfectly, because we can't perfectly randomize things, but they're seemingly random.
Exactly.
Right?
That's like you're literally proving my point. So one
Okay.
person at home. So
I'm
one person
glad I
at home
proved
can
8
do.
points tonight.
One person at home can do a much better job than NASA at faking the cloud. So it makes you wonder. Then this is obviously completely fake. If they can make real clouds, if you can make real clouds, and this is obviously fake, then this is obviously fake.
You don't get what he's saying, Wotan.
You know what that is? That's a non sequitur. That does not follow from what he said.
Wotan, here's the frustration I have. It's not that you don't understand this, because it is dense. It's dense information, and the average person shouldn't be under any obligation to understand digital forensics. The frustration I have with you is you just don't listen to anything I said. Like, you listen to keywords that you can jump on from my sentences, and keywords that you can dismiss. But you don't understand the sentence, the idea that I'm saying. And so I fear that for the rest of your life, you're going to go on practicing that same thing with everyone else. Like, I was really hoping to approach you with a charitable attitude, and really so that you could listen to what I had to say. But I honestly feel like I just wasted my breath with what I just said about all these images that you presented. Like, I feel like I gave evidence through my methodology of why I think this image is authentic or not authentic. And then you just dismiss it, and you just go on with what you planned to say before I even spoke.
Well, you can tell, Matthew, this is your first time. You can tell this is your first time speaking with someone who believes that the Earth is flat. After a couple more of these, you'll lose that optimism. I promise you, you will lose that optimism.
Yeah. Let me remain in my optimism here with Wotan for a minute, okay? I don't want to disparage Wotan, because I honestly believe that if he really chooses to adopt a methodology that can provide results and be provable, that he can actually get to some real answers here. But honestly, Wotan, like, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I honestly don't think you listened to a single word I said tonight.
No, I did.
Okay.
Just everything you're saying it just comes from confirmation bias. It just comes from the obvious. It just sounds like you have.
You just said you understood everything I said tonight. You listened to it, and then you immediately dismissed what I. everything that I said by saying confirmation bias. Can you
I'm
just
using your own
steelman-
methodology.
Can you steel man what I just said to you about that last image? Can you just tell do you know what steel manning is? It's the opposite of straw manning, what you just did a minute ago, which is you say, okay, you don't understand this because you're a fucking idiot. Like, steel man me for a minute. Steel man the argument I just made about that last image.
You said that since you could procedurally generate clouds, why doesn't NASA, who has all these funds, why can't they do a better job than you? Essentially.
Okay. Okay. Is that a valid question?
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't you answer it?
Because the fact that that they can't do a better job, because maybe there's complications that, maybe they can't, maybe they can't hire a huge team of people to make all these,
in your world,
fake clouds, because maybe too many people will be held accountable, and maybe they're trying to want to
Okay,
keep
so
it
what you
secret,
just
and
said,
maybe they have their janitor doing this crap, That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, Wotan, how important to NASA is it for them to send to proliferate these images and for people to accept them as real? How important is that to NASA?
How important is it to NASA to make people believe the images are real?
Yes.
It's completely vital. It's vital to their existence.
So
they have to make people believe that what they're doing is real.
Hold on. You got this. So you're telling me that operation is vital to their existence, and with the immense amount of resources, they did not prioritize a clone stamp, not using a clone stamp tool in Photoshop?
Well, it's almost like they're playing games because they're putting.
I can tell you, I learned how to use the clone stamp tool when I was 13. I can show you how to do it in 5 minutes. So I just need to know, you're telling is what I'm asking a straw man of what you're saying? Is NASA is it vital for NASA? It's extremely vital for NASA to disseminate these photos and to do it so it convinces everyone. But you're telling me that they're not prioritizing that in their budget, that they're not prioritizing that in their quality control. You're telling me that the organization of NASA is that incompetent and equally successful at convincing us all that there's a globe Earth when there's really a flat Earth. Is that what you're saying, or am I straw manning your argument?
The fact that you have these duplicate clouds, the fact that you have the word sex in the clouds, the fact that you have
you're not answering my question.
I'm explaining. I'm explaining it.
You're not answering my question. Answer the question. Am I straw manning your argument? Am I straw manning your argument?
That it's vital for NASA to make the images real, look real,
and at the same time they're incompetent in doing so. And what you're arguing is that they're not allocating their resources to quality control and actually putting these images out correctly. Is that a straw man of your argument?
Right. No, they're not doing a good job at convincing.
Is that a straw man of your argument?
Not really.
Okay.
Okay, can I speak for a second? So the fact that there are duplicate clouds, the fact that there is sex written in the clouds, the fact that you have on one image the oceans are purple, one image the oceans are crystal clear blue, and all of these, the image from a Russian satellite shows the land masses are all red, like the communist, flag red, with the red sickle and hammer. All of this is complete garbage. The fact that they can do this and get away with it proves that they really don't need to go through too much to try to convince you that they're real, because obviously you believe it's real and you're a CGI expert, which is I find fascinating. You have Dallas Engineer believes it's real, Kyle, Steve, everybody on the face of the earth believes that they're all real, and so they really don't need to do much to convince you. Obviously, they could just put anything in the clouds. They could put Mickey Mouse's head. They could put Mickey Mouse's head in the clouds, and you still believe it.
Do you think you're going to convince me by disparaging my intelligence?
I'm not disparaging.
Just yes or no. Just, do you think that you're going to convince me by disparaging my intelligence? Do you think that's a
not disparaging your intelligence? I'm saying that you're convinced that they're real for something. Because
do you feel like I have disparaged your intelligence tonight?
No.
Okay. Could you do me the favor and not reciprocate that? Because naturally when people hear that, they want to shut down. They don't want to listen to what you have to say. And I frankly sorry. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm getting off.
I was just gonna say, we've gone well over 2 hours here, so we're gonna need to kind of get to a wrapping place here in just a few minutes. But I do want to show an image that Godless Engineer submitted to get your expert opinion on. If we could, Dave. This is the subject of a young pastor that's going around saying that this is an authentic image, and
Okay.
we just want to make sure that that young pastor, Mr. Brat Towel, is correct in his analysis.
Yeah, that's totally real. I believe it.
Wotan,
No.
I really want to know what you think about this. Is this real, fake, composite, or misrepresented?
Fake.
Why?
What makes you think that it's fake?
Or could be misrepresented. It could be something that's actually there, but they're making it seem like they actually killed, a giant dinosaur. What I mean
I
by
wish I
fake,
could-
that it's obviously not real. That thing that's laying
We
there
can
is not
actually.
real.
Why don't we just? Can we find the original like high res photo of this and just put it through an ELA scan? Can we do that right now? Is that possible, or do we have to wrap up?
What is how?
Well, I
how
don't know.
What's an ELA
I
scan?
can send you an ELA scan is what I showed earlier, where we actually.
I mean, I know,
look at
I know what the like what it is, but where would I what kind of program would I need to run it through?
It's just a website. It's a website that you go through. But the thing is, we need the original photograph. We don't have to do it tonight, but
it's actually on the. I actually have the original photo on my machine. So what's the website?
Photo. Here.
Yeah, just send me a link.
So here's the thing. We're gonna do this. We can do this live. We can do this live. This is how I would determine. Okay, I've just sent you in the private chat a link to photoforensics.com. And
let me say this: if we're gonna do this, this to this image, and we'll end on this, with this ELA thing. What if we ran one of Wotan's photos?
Yeah,
through.
Let's do whatever you want. But here's the way that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the way that we would start from scratch with a photo is, you want to find the photo source. So that's actually a lot easier than it sounds. What we do is a reverse image search on Google. You can also go to, I think, TinyEye. TinyEye is a really good tool to do that too. You can reverse image search, and you can take an image, drag it into the reverse image search, and that'll give you images that are very, very close to what that image is. And sometimes what you can find, like in the example that I showed earlier with the sheep, is you can actually find the original right away. It just pops right up. And then you don't have to do any other investigation other than maybe an ELA scan comparison of the two images to see which background noise is more uniform than the other. And that usually solves the case right there. So we need to
this
first
with the sex cloud.
Yeah.
Image.
So reverse image search. So first thing to do is reverse image search that photo, get the highest res version and the earliest dated version of that photo on the web. And then what you do is you don't even have to download the photo. You just get the URL, and then go to photoforensics.com to get the ELA scan of that photo. Now, the ELA scan is hard to read. I'm still learning it myself. It's very difficult to understand what it's saying, and that's part of my hesitation of like doing this on the air. Is like I have to do a really in-depth presentation of how ELA scans work. So ELA scans in general, and this is a very bad way of explaining it because it's very technical, but essentially you want to look at an image, and you want that image to have the most uniform noise possible. And the way that noise either deteriorates or is ununiform doesn't necessarily show you whether or not that image is fake or is not fake, but can show you in a direction of this image has been manipulated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what it does. Wotan, where is the where does it say that this sex cloud image is from besides Reddit? Like where's the original photo tied to?
I believe it's this one.
I'm just getting it coming back to a Reddit forum. I'm not seeing where the originating source is NASA.
Forgot what year that picture was taken.
So I'm doing a reverse image search right now. It looks like
nothing coming back to.
I've got a 1920 by 1080.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's from livepetrostore.com, which.
Yeah, I can only find the 400 by 300 pixel version of it, which sucks. So right away, doing an image search, the results that we're finding is that this is most likely an image that's been cropped. So let's just I'm just going to take this and drop it into photo forensics real quick.
And with the pterodactyl picture, we all know that's fake. I'm more interested in the sex cloud one now, but I'm not seeing where it's coming back to NASA. It seems when I look for it, it originates from a Reddit post, which means Wotan, it could be anybody that just did that and put it up. It's not necessarily NASA that did that.
What it is, no, it's definitely a real image.
Well, actually, this is a great example. If you can put photo forensics up on the screen. Did you happen to get that URL by any chance?
Hold on, somebody in the chat, Scott.
Can you send me
a
picture?
I sent the URL in our private chat.
Of the picture itself?
Oh, of the picture? Here, let me copy that.
That's the problem. Like I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't
this is the only one I can find is this PNG image, which I think is the same one that Wotan used.
Okay, I think that's it.
So, it's in the, so you just copy and paste. Yeah, go to photo forensics, and you'll see on the top there's a text field that it asks for a URL. You just put the URL in there. And this is actually, I have it open on my end too, so I can walk you through this. So this is Wotan, this is one of the tools that we use for digital forensics. This is the one I wanted to give you so that you can use this for yourself. But I would encourage you to go through the tutorials that they have linked, so that you can learn how to read an ELA scan.
Okay, hold on. I sent a very high res photo to Dave, and I mean honestly, it looks like somebody took this image and cropped it and flipped it in order to make it say sex.
Oh yeah, I see.
You're literally making shit to look like something.
Yeah,
no,
so
not making anything to look like anything at all.
Yeah, so I actually found where the source of this image comes from. It comes from a Flat Earth website that was taken from a President Obama tweet of the Earth, where they flipped it upside down.
Thanks, Obama.
And then cropped it. So yeah, so this is somebody took an image, turned it upside down. Oh wait, I found the original high-res image. Oh, dope. Okay. Okay, so did you get that photo forensics thing working? We can take a look at the images side by side so we can show you how this works.
I think I think I could just put the result in here instead of, because it won't let me do it, but there's the result.
Oh, there you go. So this is an ELA scan, and what this shows you is if you see the ring, which we know is artificial, you can see how it's highlighted against the background noise of the original image. Does that make sense?
And look at that. But no sex popping out at us.
Yeah, but you don't see a highlight where it says sex where the resampling was changed. Does that make sense? So if you take the, how do I get the chat back in this?
Click the
here we go.
the message box.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sending you right now the original high-res image. So that's from a NASA website.
Okay.
So, and I'll pull it up on my end too.
You want me to do photo forensics?
Wotan, what do you have to say to that about that?
Well, the clouds are all the same color, so you're not going to see a difference in the color because it's all the same color.
Yeah. I guess I didn't explain how ELA scans work very well, so I'm sorry, guys. If you put in the high-res image, you'll see an actual really good example of what an authentic photo looks like in an ELA scan.
Can you just bottom line it for him? It busts your argument, Wotan.
Yeah, I don't think I can explain in any way that would be useful for this conversation. I guess I explained to the audience.
Well,
would you like me to do that?
I mean, the color of whatever is not going to matter.
No, the color.
Like, it doesn't matter.
No, so the color doesn't necessarily represent much of any data. It's actually just the error threshold. So that's what we want to look at. So this is an image. This is an ELA scan of an authentic image where the color and the ELA, like the error information, is fairly uniform, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for discontinuities in the way that the image is compressed, because that indicates to us that an image from an alternative source was composited into this image, and then that image was changed fundamentally. So if you show these photos side by side, we get a perfect example. This is the source photo of the photo that Wotan provided, which we found online on NASA's website that they provided to the public, and we can show concretely how this algorithm determines what is artificial in a photograph, because we saw the circle that was provided to us by Photoshop. But now we see that same source photo, and there's no circle, and there's also a uniform noise on the Earth.
Look what it does to the stars too. That's kind of cool how that program does. It'll bring out the.
It brings out a lot of information.
You really can't see them like that.
And that goes back to the example of the blues, the shades of blue. It's like the computer sees there's a difference there, but the human eye doesn't see that. So we're peering into the photograph in a way that the human eye cannot do. So this is a perfect example of how, like, we just did the methodology that I've been trying to communicate today, right now, and it took not that long, and we were able to get to the bottom of it. We were able to reverse image search a photograph. We were able to find the original. We were able to analyze the original against the photo that was provided to us with misinformation. This is
and we've got to
digital forensics 101.
And we've got to we do have to wrap because we're pushing almost 2.5 hours. But and I got to get super chats in. But Wotan, I have to say, I'll get your final thought here. But you know that I'm cool with you outside of this debate. But man, you kind of got your teeth kicked in on this one, buddy.
No, definitely not.
Okay. GE, your thoughts?
Well, I don't. I'm not very satisfied with Wotan and his explanations of things. I don't really see a good, like, I guess, method for determining truth in what he said. And I just don't see the merit in him just looking at an image and being like, oh yeah, fake. Like, I just don't understand how we can apply that, like, to anything else other than whatever Wotan sees. Like, there's no way that Wotan can tell somebody else, oh, you know that it's fake because of this particular thing. Like, I just didn't really see any good methodological way that we could actually determine, like, what pics are true and what pics aren't. So I was very underwhelmed by that, but I have to say I've learned a lot tonight from Matthew about, images, ELA, how to determine that. And I even ran a test here on my end with I edited the picture of the sex globe, and I can tell exactly on the ELA where I edited stuff. It's very evident, like, that it shows where you edit things and where things have been manipulated. So I don't understand how Wotan can hear all of this and see all of this actual evidence and still remain on the side of, oh, these are fake just because I want them to be.
Can I get the name of that website?
Occam's Razor.
Can I get the name of that website with the ELA?
Photoforensics.com with an F.
Photoforensics.com. And yeah, Wotan, use it like play around with it. I'm gonna I made a picture while we were sitting here, and I'm gonna run it through to see if I can see where the piece that I added shows up. But I think that's Matt did a really good job of bringing those tools to the table. Let's see what the live chat said and read super chats. Stephen, and then I'll let you guys make some final statements, and then we'll call it a night. Stephen Steen says, I see a dragon in every photo, maybe even an eagle. Well, I will give you Edgewise's information, and you two can search Google Earth all around and see what you two can find. Justin James Horman says, Lion King doesn't say sex. It says SFX. Crazy Mummy P says, what are the odds that you would see the word sex written in the clouds? Exactly the same as seeing any other three-letter combination written, FFS. That's a nice ending. Three-letter word. Mac HD, ask Wotan to show footage of the flat Earth. That's a good point. Do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have any images of the flat Earth?
Every single high-rise helium balloon footage I've taken ever.
In its
Flat
totality,
horizon.
do you have a picture of it in its totality?
No, because we never went up that high.
Oh, why not?
Because we never went up that high.
Why not?
Because it's impossible. Because you can't. That's it. You cannot go to space. It's completely fake. It's a show. You have your religion. You can believe your religion. That's fine.
Damn it!
No,
I'm
hold
so
on.
pissed off
It's
that we
not a
don't have
religion.
time.
It's disingenuous of you to say that. It's very demeaning.
I like how when he's like, you guys have a religion, which he's specifically speaking from his religious viewpoint, but using religion as like a slur. Like, oh, you guys have a religion, when he's clearly like coming from a religious standpoint.
I'm not
like, how is that
religious.
How is that a, oh, you're not religious? You don't believe in
No.
a flat earth because of the Bible? Oh, that's my mistake.
No,
My bad.
not at all. No.
That's my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
No, I believe that the Earth is flat because water absolutely demonstrably proves that the Earth is flat. You can experiment.
But
to
you're not an
show water
atheist,
bending around an object.
are you? Are you, Wotan? You're
No,
not an
it is.
atheist.
I would believe if the Earth is flat and it's the center of the universe, then it absolutely lends credence to some kind of design or designer. But what that thing is or what it is, I have absolutely no idea. I don't think it's some kind of anthropomorphic human being sitting on a throne. I don't believe none of that crap. I just think whatever it is, it would be.
So your philosophy wouldn't fall into the realm of religion?
Absolutely not. No.
All right.
Factard says, Wotan, skywriting is a thing. Crazy,
which is
crazy
obvious
mummy
evidence of intent. Yeah.
Crazy Mummy P says, pic showing 0.07 of 1%, 5 hours of 720 hours. Total time of the moon takes to go around the Earth. 2, pick 2 not rarer to see this word than any other possible word, for fuck's sake. Mac HD, I see SFX, that's why it's fake. Disney equals NASA. Orlor says, it's obvious that Disney has taken over the Earth. I, for one, welcome our Mouseketeer overlords. That's funny. Cajun Crustacean says, Wotan should stick to his day job of screaming nonsense at passing cars on the turnpike because he isn't cut out for this. Mark Beiser says, Wotan should have been booted from the show for ever the moment he said, there is not one single human being that can convince me we landed on the moon. It is worthless to converse with him. Why is Wotan allowed to come on here and make an ass of himself several times over? Dim Sum, that was by Jade Dragon Mail, by the way. Dim Sum says, shouldn't sex image be on NASA to be real? Shouldn't sex image be on NASA to be real? I'm not sure what you meant by that.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means either.
Salmon 109 says, bring Wotan back on. He caught the CGI guy lying. Salmon, I'm not sure if you were watching the same stream that we were. You might want to cut back on the beers or whatever you're partaking in.
And
I'm not sure. Wotan, did you catch him lying on? I know you two disagree, but are you accusing him of lying about anything?
No, he didn't lie. He just made that
Right.
He just compared the moon wrong. Made a bad
Okay.
analogy. That's all.
so
Yeah, but I'm saying you
Oh.
didn't accuse him of lying though.
Lying? No.
I got something
Yeah, go ahead,
from
Dave.
our absentee host, Steve McRae, who has also decided he wanted to contribute something to the show. And he sent me a couple images. I'm going to pull them up here. It says, clouds that look similar to me could be due to the Kelvin Helmholtz instability, which result in similar patterns of clouds, i.e.
Yeah, that's a good
things like
example.
This.
Yeah, we actually get this
Or
when we
that.
run simulations too. Because when we run a simulation of a gas or of a fluid, we follow the turbidity of the fluids that the way they react in real life. We actually can model that because it's just math. And so when we simulate fluids and we simulate gases, we actually get repeating patterns naturally in the gases. And we can change the algorithm in a way that prevents that from happening. So if we were interested in preventing that from happening, it's well within the realm of reason that we could do it. So if we didn't do it, I don't understand why.
Okay, Wotan, you can now take this opportunity to say anything you want. Plug your channel if you post content or whatever, however people can find you, or wrap up any last minute thoughts, Cheb, and then Matt will let you do. Matt, yes,
okay.
we'll let you do the same. Go ahead, Wotan.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just way too many anomalies with each and every single image of Earth, with the duplicated clouds, the sex in the clouds, even with Pluto, you obviously see Pluto's head on Pluto. What are the odds of that? Just 1 in 170 trillion. It's just absolutely completely impossible that the planet Pluto has Pluto's head on it. Wow, what a coincidence. Just things
Hold
like
on.
that.
What are you
just
talking
completely
about?
throw me off. I'm talking about in
No,
general,
just let him
NASA in
finish.
general. I'm talking about in NASA in general. The image of Pluto has Pluto's head on it. Okay. So things like that throw me off. Things like that set my, bullshit meter through the roof. When I see this fake, moon going across the Earth, straight across the Earth, not turning around the Earth, not spinning, I'm gonna believe that, you know what, it's fake. So this ELA thing, who knows? Maybe NASA actually allocated the resources to that one image to make the ELA, similar to the rest of the background noise. Who knows? The images, but obviously there's sex written in the clouds.
Or
That is,
ELA could be real and you could be wrong. That's a possibility.
I'm not saying ELA is not real. I'm saying maybe there's ways you can manipulate the ELA signature. There's things that you need. Like, if I was on his level of understanding, then we could really have a conversation about it. But I just wanted his input on these images.
Dave, throw that image on the screen real quick that I just sent you. You just said some yeah, just throw that on the screen, Dave. See what let's this will be the last image I promise that we put up. This is too good to not put up though.
It's okay, Kyle.
This is the best image of the night right here. I just I can't believe what I just saw. But Wotan triggered it, so we'll throw it up there and take a look. So this is Pluto's head on the planet Pluto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has the ears and
Okay.
everything, the nose, the defined eyes, the chin, the neck. Every single thing about it just screams that it's Pluto. It's obviously Pluto. The Disney NASA connection. There it is, right there.
Pluto with his goo eyes and love. That's hilarious.
That's product placement right there. That's great product placement.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Matt.
Definitely is.
Matt, you may wrap up any of your last minute thoughts, and then we'll let GE take us out as only he can.
Well, I hope my goal tonight was actually just to lay out a methodology of digital photo forensics or digital forensics. I feel like there's a lot more to go into, but this is a good start. I want to give this, these resources to Wotan and the rest of the community that believes in a flat Earth, that you now have the opportunity and the technology to determine whether or not an image was composited. So you're more than welcome to use that. There are tutorials on that site, and I highly encourage you not to just, dump photos on there and get random results. Like, learn how the technology works. Like you were saying, Wotan, if we were on the same level, we could have a more productive conversation. And so I hope that time comes. I hope that the time comes where, flat earthers and non-flat earthers can sit down and have the same evidence and pour over the same evidence and come to a reasonable conclusion. I think that aside from flat Earth, the reality confusion is coming. Like, a reality apocalypse is coming. We're already seeing that in our election cycles, and you saw it on live right here. Like, we did not plan that forensic analysis that we did on the air. That took us a couple minutes, and we were able to get down to the source of the image, where the image came from. We were able to build a timeline. Oh, this was posted by Barack Obama while he was president. It was then flipped upside down and then highlighted and then posted on a flat Earth news board. We were able to build a timeline. We were able to tell, even though Wotan doesn't think it's important, we were able to tell where the source of that image came from. We were able to tell how it was edited and how it was misinterpreted and put into a false context. And then we were able to show definitively how it was edited and how it wasn't edited concretely. And that's something that we didn't pay for. It was free. It was online. And we were able to do it just by following a simple logical methodology. And so I just encourage anyone out there, these tools are at your disposal. Don't take anyone's word for what is or is not fake. Use forensic analysis, and don't rely on the worst thing of all, which is your own opinion about what an image is. So I guess that's the only thing I have to say.
So I could just ask one question. How do you reverse search an image online? For the final thing. How do you reverse search an image?
That's a great question. Reverse searching an image is as easy as going to Google, going over to the Images tab, and then dragging and dropping an image into the search field. What that's going to do is it's going to give you a list of related searches. So the way that Google looks at an image, it looks at an image and it digests it into what's called a hash. And so any similar image to the image that you applied is going to have a similar hash. And so you can see all the images, the dates they were posted, the sources of where they came from, and then similar images to that.
You can also if you're in Google Images, right click and click on search Google Images for. You can just and it'll do the same thing. Okay, so I got 2 more super chats to read real quick. Designs on one says, if balloon cameras is over flat Earth, why would the distant sun be visible to the camera, but not the other side of the pre-illuminated flat Earth? You have an answer for that?
Me or Wotan?
Yeah, no, I mean Wotan. He's asking Wotan.
I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to figure out the reverse searching thing. I wasn't paying attention. Can you just like briefly run that question by again?
If the balloon camera is over a flat Earth, right, you're talking about the cameras that go up over the Earth, why would the distant sun be visible to the camera, but not the other side of the pre-illuminated flat Earth?
Why would the sun be? I don't understand the question at all. I'm sorry. The pre-illuminated flat Earth? I don't get what he's talking about.
I think he's saying like you're only seeing that like that one section of it. Why can't you see the entire plane? I think that's what he's asking.
Because you can't see the fourth wall. What do you mean? You can't see the fourth wall. You can't see behind. You can't see behind the camera. What is he expecting? Like a 360 panoramic view of the entire flat Earth? I don't get the question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to agree with Wotan. That's a little bit kind of vague what he's trying to get. I don't understand either. Like,
I was guessing as to design. If you want to clarify your question, that's fine. You can add it to the chat, but I assumed you were talking about a picture of the entire flat Earth. I don't know.
Why
You
isn't
can
there a picture
clarify
of the
that.
entire flat Earth? Because you can't go up that high and you can't see it. That's it.
Okay. Tim Pryor says, I love how flat earthers think that they're smarter than a CGI analyst with no explanation, but of course they're smarter than the most intelligent people on the earth for reasons, LOL. And that would be my ultimate question to you, Wotan, is do you have any argument other than nuh-uh? It seems to, it always comes down
you
to
guys
an argument
keep
of
saying that I'm
nuh-uh.
saying, you guys keep saying that I'm saying nuh-uh, and then I'm showing you the anomalies. I'm showing you the reasons why I think they're fake. I'm not just looking at it and it's like, oh, it's fake.
I know that.
There's reasons why I think it's fake. There's sex in the clouds, the moon going over the earth, the purple oceans, the duplicated clouds. Those are the reasons. So I'm going to think that they're fake because those are anomalies that go in discordance with reality.
But you get answers to those anomalies. Like we give you explanations for them.
They're excuses. They're not answers. They're excuses. You're excusing the anomaly. The anomaly is there. You agree that the anomaly is present, correct? The anomaly is definitely there. There is sex in the clouds. The oceans are purple.
I agree that
there's duplicated clouds.
No.
The moon is not spinning. Those are anomalies.
Don't say that we agree. Don't say that we agree. We do not agree.
You don't agree that. Okay, so everything I said, you don't agree that's there.
I agree that you think you see that, but I don't think I don't agree that it's what you claim it is. That the reason
the moon is not spinning in that image. Is it not spinning in the image?
There's a reason for that.
No, there is no reason for that. You thought it was 5 seconds of footage, and it's not 5 seconds. It's probably 15 hours of footage, and in 15 hours, you should definitely see.
It's fucking tidally locked.
It's 5 fucking hours, Wotan. It's 5 hours. I read it to you right here on the goddamn stream.
Hold on. Even before GE looked up how long it actually took from NASA's website, the explanation I gave about following the specularity of the sun across the surface of the Earth, did that make sense to you, Wotan?
Where the sun was shining on the Earth?
Yeah. So we were. Well, do you understand the methodology of how I came up with that time?
Because that's how time zones work.
Yeah, so do you understand how we measured that? Like what we were looking for, the visual clues we were looking for, and how we came up with the amount of time that passed?
Right.
Do you understand that? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, I understand the methodology that, you're figuring out how long it took.
And if you understand it, then you can explain it.
That's it.
No, so I'm not an earth scientist. I can't explain to you exactly, but I understand your methodology of how you came to that conclusion. Okay, I understand that it's obviously longer than 5 seconds, right? But even if it's 5 hours, you should see the Earth spinning.
This is your show, so you guys do what you need to do. I'm here to answer questions or to argue all night long. So you guys.
I don't even know what to do right now. I'm a little. I don't even know what to do right now. I'm perplexed. I'm perplexed.
Well, okay. So can I?
Yes, G. Go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I was going to suggest that I could take us out. But, I mean, Dave, if you've got something to say.
Well, that was going to be what I was going to do. I was just going to cut. But go ahead, GE, take us out.
Okay. Well, see, the fundamental problem here tonight, and something that Wotan has painfully made obvious, is that the flat earth community and those that are adherents to the flat earth idea have unfalsifiable narratives. Because every time we bring up an explanation or something for their ideas about why the earth is flat, or a picture is CGI, or anything like that, they always have something that invalidates us. And so that is not any kind of way to come to know truth. If you have no way of determining truth from fantasy or CGI in that matter, there's no way that you can actually determine whether or not something is real or fake. And I think that Wotan tonight has painfully made that clear. And they do it every single time they come on NonSequitur or any other show. They make it painfully clear that they have an unfalsifiable narrative that can never be challenged and they can never be wrong about. And there's nothing at all, no matter how much we explain it, no matter how much we, simplify the explanation, they will always deny that it makes sense. They will always deny that it actually explains things, and they will always deny that they can be wrong. Okay, so I think that Wotan has made that painfully obvious. And I think we're done here for tonight. And I appreciate both Wotan and Matthew coming on here, and especially Matthew for explaining a lot of the image stuff, because I know now I will definitely use that in the future, and I'm better for knowing, you know, those particular things. So I appreciate that, and I guess everybody should have a wonderful night. And I guess, I don't know, take some aspirin. I know I am.
Do you
Well,
have?
I just found an image that goes against the ELA thing, but that's all right.
Oh no! Email it to
Yeah,
me, and we'll do it on
I'll
another show.
email it.
GE, do you
I'll
have
email
a
it.
Do you have your ukulele handy?
Oh, no, I can get it. You may get it.
Let's end on a GE track. I think that'd be fantastic. Whenever we have GE on the show, he is one of a kind in his musical talent and the ability to create a on the spot song. They're all #1 hits. So I think let's end on a smile, which you can always get from him and his song. So follow up that amazing statement with an equally amazing song, and we will call her a night.
It's Photoshop because it has to be. It's Photoshop because it has to be. Wotan doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, but I can assure you he's wrong.
Well, from all of us CGI shills from NASA headquarters, we're signing off. We'll see you next time. Same NASA time, same NASA place.
Ciao.
Non-Sequitur, your facts are uncoordinated.